Hello, hello.
The Mets have
Hey.
the Mets have one no hitter in their entire history. The Sounds had two perfect games.
That's interesting. The Jumbo Shrimp.
Have you heard from Derek?
He liked the text when I explained where to go, but I'm imagining him wandering around out there. Yeah.
I didn't hear him. I just he'll find it.
Yeah.
He done shows up. Oh. And the directions are very specific. If you've been to the bathroom, you should be able to find it.
If you've gone to the bathroom. If you've gone to the bathroom. Make sure your mic is muted. I just muted mine.
championship game. That's all it was. Why are you doing this to me? The person who wins goes to the Super Bowl. But it's not quite apple to apple, I understand, but it potentially is. Because now one of the best players in the is that the potential hurt them. And one of the reasons why they won the game. I left out the room for a quick minute right before the score. I came back in, and they were like, well, he's ejected. He got a red. I'm like, what did he do? And then you look at the replay, what did he do? Again. So that's what I was talking about the whole for the game because no one could really say what he did.
Well, here's the issue. This from the Athletic. A team cannot appeal against a red card or the subsequent suspension for a FIFA official. When asked by the Athletic whether a red card can be appealed, a FIFA official pointed to its regulations in Article 66.4, which states, quote, a sending off automatically incurs suspension from the subsequent match. The FIFA judicial bodies may impose additional match suspensions and other disciplinary measures. So, if I don't understand this correctly, if I understand this correctly, Gallagher cannot appeal and cannot play in the next match, but FIFA could suspend him for more than one game.
Yeah, it's like the taskmaster who's your strength coach, where he says,
all right, everybody, give me 20 push-ups.
And everybody, and 20 push-ups.
All right, you don't like it? 40 push-ups.
That's my decision. I make the decision.
It's ridiculous. This is the biggest sporting event in the world, and it's not close. And a guy is making a play. It was not malicious at all. Stepped on the guy's ankle. It's bad enough that they gave him a red card in that game. That was a very questionable call. It's a big penalty for him to sit out the rest of the game, and the team has to play with 10 guys. That's soccer. I get that. But for that to be a penalty that gives you that punishment plus the next game, that is a horrible rule. And I know I hope people come at me soccer. Oh, that's how soccer is. That's how you go. That's wrong. And I would be saying that if that happened to Spain or Austria, if I was Spain league, Austria would have one down. Second half. I'm into this thing, man. This is development. Have a recourse for a mistake. And the point that the guy made last night was they're not going to overturn it the decision because they actually looked at the video. And they still determined somehow I looked at the video. That's the way. Okay. But how is that possible? The punishment thing. It doesn't. It does not. Okay, comes over wax bloody in the head. Yeah, that's why you have to push. Everything looks worse in slow motion. Everything looks worse in slow motion. So it did not look like an intentional foul in live time. But when you look at it in slow motion, it looked like a dangerous play. And that's why as I said before with the hockey example, when you break it down frame by frame and you slow it down, take blurry screenshots, and you zoom in and say, see, he picked the head. Clearly, he should be suspended for 6 games. This reminded me of that. But really, you also brought up something interesting. There's a clip going around on social media of Gallagher actually being impeded on a potential goal. But I guess Fox didn't show the replay, and you can provide the broadcaster's perspective on it.
Yeah, it's that's a big natural thing on social media. What about is it? So they found the what about this way. And nobody would have really noticed it by the broadcast, but they didn't really show the replay. The replays in the World Cup, remember?
Sure, yeah. What's your name?
Watching the game. So what they have.
All right, Marshall. I'll throw you on hold and they'll get you as soon as they can, okay?
So you can't have these are continental nations. You have 48 nations. Whatever. 32 different TV trucks, 32 different producers, 32 different sets of cameras. So there's a lot of sharing on the broadcast. So what they have is called the World Feed for the announcers. So even though the World Cup is in the USA, the Fox people,
because I saw this going around on social media. Why didn't Fox show the replay? Why didn't the announcers watch them? Well, unless they saw it in real time, they don't have the choice. The replays are sort of chosen by the world feed people. And every nation is going to have to roll with it. I've done some hockey games like that. The leagues have gone let's talk about so-and-so story for the purposes of our life. You can't do that on the world feed. You just have to react to whatever the replays are chosen from the world feed. So that's why that shot didn't get into. I noticed this in all the World Cup games I'm watching. They like to show the reaction of the crowd. They like to show the reaction of the benches. They don't get to the replay as quickly as I would prefer. I would like to see 2 or 3 replays on some of these things. Sometimes they want the ambiance, and you have to make tough choices. That's what the director and the producer and the truck have to do on a game-by-game basis. So I think that explains why they didn't get to see Balogun play, the one that you're talking about, Adam. It's not the one on the red card, the one where he had a scoring chance, the guy grabbed his arm. And to me, that looked like a worse foul than the one, just for me, a casual soccer fan at best. That looked a lot worse than what Balogun did, going for a ball and stepping on a guy's ankle. And by the way, the guy wasn't hurt. The guy popped up and played the rest of the game. It's not like he took their guy out.
Neil on our text line says that ruling is why FIFA and subsequently soccer will never be popular in the United States, and the flagrant flopping is hard to watch. And I know the flopping thing is stereotypical of soccer, but it's pretty bad.
Right, but I don't want to be that guy.
Yes.
I know that that's what they do, and I wish I could change it, but that's just for American, whatever. But the procedure of something of that magnitude, of a guy missing a game for what he did, that's just common sense. You shouldn't miss a game like that.
Nate says, Willy, 0 is nil in soccer. I may have also said, I may have also
I
said
know,
0 as well.
then come at me and say it's supposed to be football.
One texter says, not to mention there have been other identical fouls with no cards given in the World Cup. But it is unfortunate, but the United States has advanced to the round of 16, a rematch from 2014 in the round of 16 against Belgium. That game Monday, a 7 p.m. Central start in Seattle. So we will see if the U.S. can continue its run through the World Cup. But yes, as exciting as that game was last night, it was soured by that controversial call on Balogun. 615-737-1025. Look at us talking about soccer. Look at us.
Now, I am going to ask for a little help here. I would love for somebody that really knows this team. Maybe we can call it. But he doesn't know. I know he works very hard, so we're not going to ask him to go beyond the call. But I would love for some people to help me figure out how do you replace Balogun. I know they've already played a game with Balogun. They rested him against Turkey, so to speak. To go with the modern way of saying Turkey. But can you replace Balogun? Who's the guy that goes in there and has to stop? I would like to know that. And Belgium, I did watch their game, I remember, the 2014. It was a really good game. But I think this U.S. team is way, way better than that team. But this is a huge game. Like, they need to win this game to really be able to say, hey, regardless of what happens from here, they've had a successful run in the World Cup. They lose this game coming up, it's kind of like, well, this is usually what the U.S. does. They get to the round of 16.
615-737-1025. Our phone and text lines are driven by WilsonCountyHoney.com. We will take your thoughts on the World Cup and the U.S. men's national team win against Bosnia yesterday. 615-737-1025. Coming up next, Chad Withrow will join the program. I wonder if he has any thoughts on what happened in the match yesterday. We'll get into that and more with our Chad coming up in 615-737-1025. As I said today, the National Sound is up in Jacksonville.
dudes, man, they will stay on the ground. They'll
Like
roll
even
around.
the soccer people are laughing at that. Like, oh, come on.
These dudes will roll around for like 3 minutes and then pop up like, all right, I'm ready to go.
Well, that's what the guy did last night.
Paul Feinbaum, which one lasts longer, the Taylor Swift Travis Kelce wedding or Lane Kiffin's tenure at LSU?
Hey, Chad, how you doing?
I'm sure there's days.
We've received 3 texts. One person says Haji Wright is the next guy up.
Okay.
Kevin in Nashville says Gio Reyna is the next best player. Nate says if Christian Pulisic doesn't show up against Belgium, they have no chance.
Well, Pulisic is a different position. He's a winger. Like I can see that. Balogun's the guy in the middle that you're trying to feed it to. I didn't realize we might get a shower.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's a really good
I left the
reason.
house like I'm like, man, like it's gonna rain.
This is a great spot. We could say we're at the ballpark, but we're in the air conditioning. This would have been. We should have been here all week with the air conditioning in our studio. We should have just asked the sound so we could come here for the Monday through Thursday.
I should ask Chad, where's the worst place you have ever received news about your favorite sports team? Did you see that clip I sent you of Bill Simmons?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
that's a great idea.
Yes.
I love that idea. I do need to think about that. What is mine? Because I know I've got some.
Bill Simmons coming out of a
Yeah,
colonoscopy to
yeah,
find
that's
out that Jalen Brown.
Bill Simmons is legit funny. I love his podcast on the movies. Rewatchables. That's really well.
Right coming back.
Well, here's the latest guy that acts like he's hurt.
DMase, Vingan and Donick, 1025. The game, Willy, Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan here with you. I'm in charge of the music today. The theme, some of my favorite songs with the words America, American, or USA in the title. So we start with a little Childish Gambino, This is America. And let's go to our phone line, driven by Wilson County, Hyundai.com, and welcome in our buddy Chad Withrow. Now, Chad, I believe either today or yesterday was the first day of the Tennessee Adidas partnership. How are you feeling about it? Are you okay?
You know, I'm feeling great after watching these hype videos. I was initially, I'm not gonna lie, in 2014 when Tennessee went from Adidas to Nike, to me that was the day to celebrate, because I've always been way more of a Nike guy than an Adidas guy. I think at the time, you know, most young people, when you're recruiting young athletes, probably favored Nike over Adidas unless they were a soccer star. So when I heard Tennessee was going to make the move back to Adidas, I was a little bit reluctant to get on board. But guys, I think when you really look at the financials of it and the way Adidas came to the table with how much money they're giving Tennessee, but not just that, I mean, the NIL portion of this, how players can be Adidas athletes and how that can help Tennessee. I think we could end up seeing a story with DGG, David Gabriel Gorgeous and Chattanooga, signing maybe a record-breaking NIL deal, and part of that being a piece of it from Adidas. So I like what they've done. Love the video of Peyton Manning. So look, I'm cautiously optimistic that this rollout has been done really well. And I think it's going to be a great thing for Tennessee.
Chad, I'm curious, and I will tell you why I'm asking you this question in a moment. But where is the worst place you have ever received news about your favorite sports team?
Oh my gosh, that's a great question. I feel like I've been at in a wedding before, and I'm trying to think of the exact game where Tennessee was ahead, and then something catastrophic happened, like during the ceremony, and you get done, it's like, oh my gosh, what has gone on in this game? I'm having a hard time coming to understand exactly when that was, but I feel like there's been something like that. I've been at plenty of weddings where everyone's sitting around a phone, watching a college football game at the end of it. But I mean, guys, I'm weird in that, I coach my daughter's teams and I'm out there sporting events all the time. And I will successfully go dark on a game if I want to, all the time.
I commend you for that.
Pull it off. But I mean, if I see someone, I remember this year, NCAA tournament, Tennessee's playing Virginia in the second round. My daughter had a play. We go to dinner after the play. Game's in the second half. There was a guy who came to get a pickup order, decked out in Tennessee gear, watching the game on his phone. I didn't look at that guy. I didn't sense his reaction. I didn't see what was going on. I successfully went dark. Didn't even see if he was happy, sad, what was happening. So I'm pretty good at doing that, getting home late, starting the game fast forward, watching it like 45 minutes or an hour when you fast forward through all the commercials and everything else. So I don't know that I can come up with a great example right off the bat of a time that's really happened, because I can usually go dark pretty well.
I commend you for that. The reason why I ask you this is because it's gone viral. Bill Simmons revealed how he found out about the Jaylen Brown trade yesterday from Boston to Philadelphia. He was coming out of a colonoscopy. The anesthesia was wearing off. His wife picked him up, and he found out right after that Jaylen Brown had been traded. And I if you haven't seen the clip, I highly recommend it. But Chad, before you came on, we were talking about the U.S. men's national team's win against Bosnia yesterday. Do you have any thoughts on the controversial call of Pilar Daligan in the U.S.'s win yesterday?
I mean, I think it's insane. I don't understand how that's a red card. I don't think there was intent in the motion that was made and him landing on the ankle and all that. Now, I would be foolish to sit here and cite the rule book and tell you I've seen that a million times, because I haven't, because I'm not a huge soccer guy. But I am an American, and as an American, I watched that, and I think the Daligan should not have gotten a red card. And I think upon review, he should have been given a red card. And that's a huge blow to the Americans. He's one of their top 2 goal scorers as they go to the next round without him. So I thought it was much like everyone else. I thought it was over the top. I don't really understand it, but I'm also not going to sit here and cite the rule book to you and say one way or the other whether it should have been a red card or not.
Chad, I'm going to go back to college football. College fans came out and disappointed. What do you make of that? Because it's not like, people went out of their way. This kid has been, heralded as the next coming since he was young. So they had what they expected, some type of person coming in.
Well, and here's what I'd say to Archie Manning. Do you like the money that comes in from Raising Cane's and Warby Parker and Nike and everything else that he took NIL because of his last name and because his uncle is one of the best pitchmen in the history of commercials in Peyton Manning, because his other uncle is another great commercial guy and has a ton of endorsements of Eli Manning, because his dad is a big personality, because his granddad did a lot in the world of football also. I mean, guys, you just can't have it both ways. Like, naturally, the name Manning is going to put a lot of pressure on that player. It's not the media's fault. Everyone knew his name because everyone knew of his granddad and his uncles. Now, is it unfair? I mean, life is unfair. There's also a lot of things that happen to Archie Manning that I would say is unfair. Someone didn't grow up with Archie Manning as my granddad, or Peyton and Eli as my uncle. He had a lot of experience I wish I could have had. Is that fair? I don't know. I mean, I just think we're so quick to, oh my gosh, the media has done this, too much expectation. I mean, come on, it works both ways. we live in a social media era. We live in a world where everybody is media at all times. Everyone's got a hot take. Everyone can write whatever they want about anything. And that's the world that Arch Manning has profited from, and that he's going to continue to profit from. So I don't feel any sympathy for Arch, or Archie, for Peyton, for Eli, for anyone. There's nothing unfair about this. The kid went to Texas, a blue blood powerhouse program, and there's going to be high expectations because of his last name.
Now, let's continue on Texas, but from a that game in September, how important is that game for Texas?
I mean, it's huge. It's one in a stretch of big games for Tennessee. You know, they get Auburn during that stretch. They get LSU in a late in the season. Also, Alabama is in there in Knoxville. I mean, look, I think Josh Heupel has gotten this to where if Tennessee goes 8-4, 7-5, it's just kind of okay. Fan base. You know, they don't like it. They want to do better. But if they do anything below that, it's shocking, because I do think they've stepped forward around 8-4, 7-5. If Tennessee were to surprise, I mean, I think that's a game where they really need to show well. I thought the same about Georgia a year ago. I thought, you know, Tennessee can get off to a 2-0 start, and they host Georgia in that SEC opener. If they can look good in that game, maybe they're going to be better than expected. Now, Tennessee has won the game, so they should have won it against Georgia and Knoxville. That really changed the complexion of the season. I kind of feel the same way about that Texas game early in the year for the Vols, that if they can look good, and I hate it's 11 a.m., but if they can look good on that national stage, I think that's going to be the checkerboard game also, or orange out or something. It's going to look really good on television. I wish it was at night, but it's not. I think that could bode well for the rest of the Tennessee season. And as we talked about, they're going to be doing it with either a freshman or a redshirt freshman quarterback.
With that said, Chad, speaking of Chad Withrow, I like to talk to Withrow. What's your read right now on the two young quarterbacks?
You know, I know George McIntyre was out from Manning Passing Academy, and everyone sort of tried to breathe the feelings of that. Oh, maybe he's the anointed one. He's the guy getting more reps, and he's going to be the starter. Really, I really don't know. Everything that I've heard out of camp is that Faison Brandon was further along than anybody expected. And I don't know that that's a knock at George McIntyre. They were both very inconsistent up and down, kind of the way you expect the young guys to be. I think McIntyre was a little bit more inconsistent than maybe the coaching staff would have liked, given that he had 1 year jump start on Faison Brandon. So maybe that was a bit disappointing. But, I mean, I know that Josh Heupel's offense really cooked when the quarterback is a running option. So I think if there is a tie, if there's any doubt about either guy and which way to go, I think you got to go with the guy who presents the best running option. We saw that with Hinch Booker in that offense. Milton didn't really like to run, and it hurt Tennessee. Nico, same way. You know, that offense was limited under Nico Yamalayama. I think that Joey Aguilar was a sneaky good runner, and when he was pulling it down and running it, Tennessee was at their best. So, look, it's going to be close, and I think Faison Brandon's a little bit better of a rush option. So I think if you get down to it, you can't decide. You got to go with the guy who gives you the better running option.
That's a fair theory. I can take you back through the years. It makes a lot of sense. So it leads to this, Chad. This will certainly be fun to cover. It won't be dull, but it's a dilemma for any coach, right? If you have two guys that are roughly the same age that are battling for playing time. So what do you think he does if it is close?
Yeah, I think, look, Josh Heupel, he's not going to play any political type of game. And what I mean by that is, he's not going to look at it and say, okay, now what do we promise this player? What do we promise this player in money? Is this guy going to immediately vault with the portal if we go with the other guy? I mean, I think he's going to play the best player. You know, regardless of where they are, regardless of freshman versus redshirt freshman or not, I do think that there's, you know, with Nico, that was a setup system, right? The Vanderbilt and Jared Kurtz, he's a starter. That's part of his dream with Vanderbilt. They're just paying him to not go to Georgia, to go to Vanderbilt. He's going to be the starter. Everybody knows that. And that's a long-term investment for Vanderbilt football, which I think is a smart one. With Nico Yamalayama, they knew the plan was to redshirt him and start him in year two, right? There was no mystery about who the starter was going to be. There's a big mystery with these two. They weren't promised anything when they got there. So because of that, Willie, I don't think there's going to be anything in the back of his mind about, well, what are we paying this guy? What are we paying this guy? This guy could be more apt to leave or not. I think he's going to start the best player. And here's the thing, they're both going to play. I mean, we've seen it. There's going to be injuries along the way. There's going to be poor play. I think regardless of who he starts, you're going to see both guys start games at some point this season.
Let's pull it out to the macro. You just said on one issue that a lot of coaches are having to deal with now, especially based on how much money is being allocated, where's the person coming from. That's got to put extra layers of decision making and tough calls on coaches' shoulders, especially when players can leave at any time. But I was at the Predators development camp today. There's a lot of the players that are here in Nashville that are maybe future Predators. A lot of them are going to college, and a lot of them are making money. And all of a sudden, it's different going to play college hockey than it was 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, because some of the big programs, especially the Big Ten, they got money to pay these guys. It's really interesting. It's different. So what? Like, if you go back, though, Chad, is that the biggest thing for coaches now? Is that part of it? Or if it's not that, what else comes to mind for you? Stuff that coaches, it used to be hard enough anyway, but what's harder now than it ever has before?
Yeah, I think it's that, Willie. I think it's managing egos and managing finances of your roster and where you commit most of your money. And, you know, not many schools, there are some we could argue, boy, that seems like an unlimited budget. Whatever Lane Kiffin did with LSU's roster this year, I'm not sure if everybody's going to get paid in full, but what he promised that roster in the transfer portal, that seems like an unlimited budget. That's not reality. Everybody's working under the construct of what makes sense. I'll use DGG as an example. There's a report from Pete Nakos that he's going to be the first running back to get over $1 million a year. That he'll be the highest paid running back. I think that says Tennessee's going to do that. I firmly believe that. I think Adidas is going to be a part of it. He's going to be an Adidas athlete, and he's going to get paid a ton of money. Now, I would ask the question. Josh Heupel's had 1,000-yard rushers from Jalen Wright to Dylan Sampson, who broke the school record held by Scott Stevens, to Deshaun Bishop this past year. He'll go over 1,000 again this year if he stays healthy. Do you really need to go over $1 million for a running back if you can get a 3-star in that offense that can be highly productive and pay that guy $100,000 and then allocate that money elsewhere? I mean, these are questions these schools have to ask.
It's like an NFL capologist.
Exactly. And here's the other thing, Will. It's not just the capologist part of it. The coach can't deal with this. I mean, like, can you imagine, like, Willie Darnick's coaching Vanderbilt football, and you got one guy who's getting paid $50,000. And you got another guy who's getting paid $300,000, and the guy making $50,000 starts over the guy making $300,000, and he's one of your best players. He comes to you after 4 games and says, I want to make $250,000 this year. You can't deal with that in the middle of the season. Like, you've got to have lieutenants and collectives and people that are in charge of that, right? Because there's no win. If you're talking to different players this season, right, you're going to look bad no matter what, saying yes or no. If you cave to them, you look bad at your team and give them more money. If you don't, it looks like you don't believe in play. So, look, people that make a lot more money than me are trying to figure these things out. But I don't think the coach should deal with it at all. And I do think that policy part of this, that you have to decide what's worth it. I think the DGG thing with Tennessee is fascinating, because I can make the argument that I can get a guy to rush for 1,500 yards in Tennessee and make $200,000 a year, and that's it. And go spend that money on a receiver. Go spend that money on an edge rusher. Go spend that money on 2 lockdown corners, right? Like, that's the way you have to look at the game. It's a big chessboard. It's not just one move.
Chad Withrow has been our guest on DMase Vinkin. He joins us every Friday, but he was kind enough to join us today with a holiday weekend approaching. Chad, I hope you and your family have a wonderful July 4th weekend. We'll do this next week.
Happy 4th, John. Happy 250th, and we'll talk to you with America a little bit older a week from now.
Indeed. 615-737-1025. We'll take your reaction to anything and everything that Chad Withrow had to say. Plus, I am curious, so if you are listening and you want to share, 615-737-1025. Where is the worst place you've ever received bad news about your favorite team? I am very curious. So if you want to share, 615-737-1025. Willy Dunning, Derek Mason, Adam Thinking. We are broadcasting from the Mid-City Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service.
ready to be able to skip your next 2 house payments. Call Home Pronto. Leave your low rate mortgage intact. You'll get the cash out you need in as little as 2 weeks without paying closing costs. Visit homepronto.com or call 615-499-5780. That's homepronto.com or 615-499-5780. Qualified homeowners, equal housing lender, NMLS 1667881, NMLS Consumer Access,
Which young professionals are shaping the future of Middle Tennessee? Find out at the 19th Annual NELLIS, presented by the Jack C. Massey College of Business at Belmont University. Join YP Nashville and the Nashville Area Chamber on July 9th at Marathon Music Works to celebrate the region's top young professionals and the impact they're making across our region. Network with emerging leaders, celebrate this year's finalists, and be there as the 2026 NELLIS winners are revealed. Space is limited. Register now at nashvillechamber.com/NELLIS.
Celebrate America's birthday with horsepower and fireworks this Saturday, July 4th at Duck River Raceway Park. The Independence Day Special features super late models racing for $5,000 to win, plus spotlights, factory stocks, open wheel, and more. Then cap off the night with a spectacular fireworks show at intermission, Nashville's closest dirt track, just minutes from Henry Horton State Park. Throughout the evening, Duck River Raceway Park will also honor the memory of Bentley Potts with memorial stickers and donation opportunities benefiting his family. Spend your 4th of July at Duck River Raceway Park and Wheel with racing, fireworks, and a community united in remembrance.
Your mission just met its match. Robinhood. Play for the win, not just on game day, every day. Channel that drive to your money. Robinhood puts you in control. All on one platform. Expect more from yourself. Expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney.
DMase, Vinkin and Donick, 102.5 The Game. Willy Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vinkin here with you live at First Horizon Park. Thank you to Chad Withrow for joining us as he always does each and every week on the program. You had a thought, Derek Mason?
Yeah, just listening to Chad explain his whole honesty. I would have never thought, I'm sure you probably would have been, back in 93 when I got in college. You hope that one day you would, but you never thought you would be to this day. Like, the way he was explaining it, if you didn't know the conversation, you would have thought he was talking about the person.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
That is, it's wow.
I remember the first time, just a couple years ago, I don't know who the first team was. Vanderbilt might have been on the front side of this, but they hired Barton Simmons. Barton Lee hired a guy who was in high school with Barton Simmons, was a great recruiting analyst. He hired him as his general manager. And that might have been the first one. There might have been a couple of, but I kind of laughed when the first college program hired a GM. I was like, you get a GM. Now everybody's got a GM because you have to. Like for the reasons that Chad was talking about. The coach cannot deal with all of the stuff that goes.
And then a player coming in the middle of the season, having some game, see how what he gets during the season.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
Who was the guy that, well, part of it was the team's fault. I can't remember what team it was. Maybe he was UNLV, somebody out west. The guy left.
Yes.
The quarterback just said,
yes.
You promised me the money, and I'm not getting my job this league. Matthew Sluka, I believe, is the quarterback you're referring to. Was it UNLV? Yes, it was UNLV.
So it's things like that that honestly it resembles professional sports, but I think it's worse.
Because there's no rules, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So before the break, I wanted to hear from all of you, 615-737-1025. Where is the worst place you've received bad news about your favorite team? And the reason why I ask this is a clip has gone viral from Bill Simmons. And if you know Bill Simmons, he is a diehard Boston sports fan. Yesterday, the Celtics traded Jaylen Brown to the 76ers for Paul George and I believe 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks. And everybody was waiting for Bill Simmons to react to this news in real time, and he didn't. And he revealed earlier today the reason why he did not have a reaction yesterday is because he was undergoing a colonoscopy. So he did not find out about the trade until after he finished his colonoscopy and the anesthesia was wearing off. And he said, I thought I was dead. The anesthesia killed me when he heard about the return for Jaylen Brown. So I was curious what some of you had in mind. Michael in Madison says, I don't really have a specific location that comes to mind, but I can pinpoint the exact location in my living room to you when I first learned about Derrick Henry's broken foot back in 2021. I was around 3 feet right of center from my TV, 5 feet away from the screen itself, turned towards the TV at a 45-degree angle from the wall. That is specific. That is specific. I'm trying to think if I have an example of this. I can't think of one off the top.
I don't have anything that can top Bill Simmons in the colonoscopy, but I do remember, and this was just me. I was in high school, and the Mets were in the NLCS, and they ended up losing the series in 7 games, but they had played a really hard-fought night game the night before, Game 4 of a best of 7, and Kirk Gibson. This is the year that Kirk Gibson eventually hit the home run in the World Series that is still probably the most famous World Series home run ever hit. I would say if it's not, it's one of the top 3. But it was a crushing home run in extra innings, and that tied the series 2 games apiece. I thought Game 5 was that next night. But as it turned out, the next game was an afternoon game during school. So I'm in high school, and I think the game's that night. And it's basketball season starting. Busy, got high school things going on. I was a senior, and I walked into my coach's classroom. I was just chat with him a couple minutes between classes. I didn't have him for a teacher. I just popped in and say hi to him. And I walked in there, and he says, "Hey, it's too bad the Mets lost today." Last night they lost. No, they just lost Game 5. I was like, "What? They played?" He's like, "Oh yeah, they played. You didn't know that?" I was like, "No, I didn't watch one pitch of a huge playoff game." I was like, "What? Where was I? I thought I was a super Mets fan. I was like the #1 Mets fan. I missed it. They won. They ended up winning Game 6 the next night, but then lost the first time to Game 7. But that was tough. It was my own fault. I can't blame a colonoscopy or anything.
This is not a perfect comparison to what happened to Bill Simmons yesterday or the day before. But one of my earliest vivid sports memories was 1999 or 2000 when Duke lost to UConn in the Final Four, the national championship game. That was the Duke team with Elton Brand and Corey Maggette and Trajan Langdon losing to UConn. My dad went to the game at Tropicana Field. That's where the national title game was, at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg. And I remember my dad calling home and I remember him sounding just so upset. I wasn't diehard into it yet, but that paints a picture of when it really started to turn for me. Like my dad, who barely ever sheds a tear, clearly upset on the other side of the phone when I was 10 years old because he went to Tampa to watch Duke lose in the national title game. Speaking of things people are upset about, the NFL 100. So every year, the NFL 100 is voted on by the players. It's a list of, you guessed it, the top 100 players in the NFL. Jeffrey Simmons was not on the list a year ago. He debuted on this year's list at number 83, and people are very, very mad about it. He as voted on by other players, he's the 83rd best player in the NFL. And after the season he had, people are very upset about that ranking.
Yeah, I can understand why they would be considering, how dominant he was with his team. All pro. How does he fall down so far? Or how is he on the list? if not the best interior line. I mean, outside of what Miles Garrett did, I don't think anyone played to the level of Jeffrey Simmons last year.
Maybe it's because he wasn't on the list a year ago, and it's hard to go from not being on the list to like number 15.
But even that, for that low, so what you're telling me is, what was it, 68?
83.
83. He's the 83rd best player in the league.
According to the other
Based
players.
upon what he did last year, how dominant he was the 83rd person on that list. I can't believe it. I really can't.
John says 83 is egregious, but people saying he's top 8 in the league is also egregious. I don't know if I would go Jeffrey Simmons in the top 10.
Someone said top 10.
Someone said, well, I guess someone did. John said 83 is egregious, but people saying he's top 8 in the league is also egregious. So maybe John heard people claim that Jeffrey Simmons should be a top 10 player on this.
Okay, so what would we think is right? What's the right number? It's hard for us to sit there, well, here are the other 99.
Right. And keep in mind, it's all players. It's not just defensive players. It's not just offensive players.
But his position is one that is a different type of position. It would have you think that if he is the best in his position, and that position is such a game-changing position, 83 is too low. True?
Yeah, I would think so. Now, I don't think they have the whole, they don't have the whole list.
I think he is the latest addition to the list.
Latest. So, who's going to be ahead of him? That's my thing. You know, out of 100 players, you're telling me he's the 83rd best player with the 100 guys that you put together. I just find that really.
All right, quickly, what range would you put him in?
I consider him the best interior line.
So does that make him somewhere between 20 and 30, 30 and 40?
I would say somewhere between 20 and 40.
I think top 50 for sure.
20 and 40.
I would say 40 sounds very reasonable. If you want to go higher, I think maybe higher.
One texter says, where were other interior defensive linemen on the list?
Yeah,
The full list isn't out because they do it from 100 to
So what
1.
we're saying is you're going to get more bad.
Yes.
Some of the other lists, some of the people higher up.
One texter says, Jeffrey is probably top 20 in the league, in my opinion, if you go from unranked to ranked. I think somewhere between 30 and 40 is an appropriate place for Jeffrey Simmons, based on his performance this past season, when he was as dominant a pass rusher as there really could be in the NFL. 615-737-1025. We have to be mad online about something. So if you want to be mad about this, go nuts. 615-737-1025. Coming up next. Yesterday was the first day of NHL free agency. While we were on the air, Chris McFarland held a news conference, and he said some really interesting things. We will play those and react to them coming up next. 615-737-1025. Willy, Don, and Garrett, face it out. Think it, 1025 again.
Electronic
small town of French Lick, Indiana, Larry Bird rose to basketball immortality through hard work and determination. His toughness, skill, and competitive spirit made him one of America's most respected athletes. Celebrating America 250, Sports Legends on ESPN 1025 The Game. Now break up your 4th of July celebration with Pyromania Fireworks, veteran and locally owned. Proud sponsors of the Gary Sinise Foundation and your destination for the biggest fireworks selection around. Visit pyromaniapyro.com.
I think this will go all the time. Talk. Right? What I do. Teammates and love it's the leading cause actually never lose. But now, I don't know how it's able to Lane's grace there. Great work. Save somebody. Lane person on their back. With our team, they scored that great first thing back to the now, stay with it. We see how teams are finish their initial doses that team. And opioid poisoning can happen to anyone, anywhere, anytime. So learning the signs and symptoms of opioids, always be ready to respond. Hard preventing the rest of the body. This message brought to you by the Game Nashville and Waterloo.
Live on the Game Nashville Sports Network. Good afternoon, I'm Connor Newton with your Game Center update. 3 rings in the World Cup as Team USA takes down Bosnia 2-0 to advance to the round of 16 in the World Cup. Goals from Florian Balogun in the 45th minute and Malik Tillman on a free kick in the 82nd minute give the Americans everything they need to take down the Bosnians. However, in the 64th minute of the match, Florian Balogun was assessed a red card and was suspended for the rest of the match and next match, and the USA will not appeal this decision. It is possible that Balogun misses more just next match, according to the FIFA. The U.S. men's national team will take on Belgium Monday night, July 6th, starting at 7 p.m. The NBA is instituting a one-free throw rule during the upcoming NBA Summer Leagues. The rules are as follows. When free throws are awarded, one free throw worth 1, 2, or 3 points will be attempted. Standard NBA free throw rules apply in the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter and during overtime. The NBA G League has used this rule since 2019 and 2020 for game 4. Last night in Major League Baseball, the Atlanta Braves take down the St. Louis Cardinals 5-1. But the story of the game wasn't an actual play. English soccer fans took over Truist Park and chose Michael Harris, Braves outfield, as their hero. Here's some of the audio from the game. And tonight on 94.9 The Fan, it's National Sounds Baseball as they take on the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp, AAA affiliate of the Miami Marlins. Pre-game at 6:20 and first pitch at 6:35. For the Game Nashville Sports Network, I'm Connor Newton.
For more, log on to theGameNashville.com. Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network. Live from the busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios. All the way across San Jose. We are TFNB Road, WZHD2. Is here. Wrestling Creatures here. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network on ESPN 1025 The Game.
The Cromwell Media Station.
Celebrating Albert Hall with you on the drive home. You guys are going to get me in trouble. Oh, you know you're already in trouble. Former Titans wide receiver and Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer Derek Mason. TV voice of Illinois. 600 goals! And reporter everything and more.
And I'm Eric, and I love to look at the numbers.
DMase, opinion, and comment.
For the SEC stuff.
Your sports live here. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. This is 1025 The Game.
DMase, Vingan and Donick, 1025 The Game. Willy, Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, and Connor Newton here with you. We are live at First Horizon Park, where the Nashville Sounds will take on the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. First pitch at 6:35. But the tarp's out on the field. It's looking a little stormy out there. No rain here yet at the ballpark, but they're prepared. So we'll see what happens. But if you need something to do, first pitch, 6:35 tonight, Nashville versus Jacksonville. By the way, these numbers just published by Fox Sports. The match between the United States and Bosnia is the most watched soccer telecast in English language U.S. history. For preliminary numbers, 24.429 million viewers tuned in for the USMNT's World Cup match against Bosnia on Fox on Wednesday. It peaked at 31.883 million.
Did you see what it was last year? Last year?
I'm sure I can pull it up at some point. Well, it makes sense.
Yeah, so, but it seems like the future has gone.
People are catching on.
And because of that they go, what do you think the numbers will potentially get to?
That's a great question. I think with each one, the audience is gonna get bigger, get bigger for sure. So I'm trying to put it like, what's a good NFL playoff? Let's say it's not the Super Bowl. Let's say a wild card. Is that bigger?
Let's see.
And it's a championship game kind of audience.
That
Are we getting
has
close?
to be a championship. Why, yes.
So the league and Nielsen, meaning the NFL, the league and Nielsen said last weekend 6 wild card games averaged 32 million viewers. So these 6 wild card games averaged 32 million viewers. This game peaked at 31.883 million.
So you're getting into that big NFL game territory. That's impressive.
Yeah, and we'll see how. Look, I get it. People are, yes, football. The other football is becoming very popular during the World Cup, and we talked about this even before the World Cup started. The fact that the World Cup is here, the games can be played in prime time. That's going to lead to big numbers. And as the U.S. team continues to advance deeper into the tournament, more people are catching on. So, big NFL wildcard playoff game-like numbers for the U.S. men's national team in its win against Bosnia last night. Yesterday was the opening of NHL free agency. The Predators made one notable signing Alex Kerfoot to a 2-year contract with a $3.5 billion cap at $7 million total. 2 years, 3.5 per year. Of course, the bigger news, the trade acquisition of 24-year-old forward Maverick Bourque from the Dallas Stars. And while we were on the air yesterday, Predators GM and President of Hockey Operations Chris McFarland held a news conference to discuss the moves he has made so far this offseason. He's been very busy, multiple trades, and some signings as well. And we're going to play a couple of clips. We're going to start with one on the state of the roster, because with all of these moves McFarland has made,
I think
he really hasn't sent anybody out. He traded Fedor Svechnikov, he traded Zachary LaRue, they were part of the deal for Jack Drury, but there are only so many roster spots to go around. So yesterday, Chris McFarland was asked if he's done making moves. Here's what he said.
Looks like you have about 14, 15 work signs forwards.
a description of where they value and where they need some upgrades, which basically was the defense for. They want a little bit more skill, a little more drive, and he went into quite a bit of detail. That was not quite open book very drops, but it was, I think, revealing. I really enjoyed listening to Chris McFarland's pressers. He doesn't do as many availability sessions, but I think if you listen, there's themes that really jump out that he's been consistent that he's put in there. Strong down the middle, in the baseball reference, I think does make some sense. And so I think when he got to, you might be willing to move off of some players to kind of circle back to where the question started. I think you can kind of circle a couple of guys in there that would be guys that you might be willing to move on from.
And who are those guys, Willie? Who would you put squarely on the hot seat on the Predators roster right now?
I think we talked about this some yesterday. I think, number one, there are guys that are up-and-comers that maybe have lost a little bit of luster. And this happens a lot, right? There are guys that, when they're 18, it really does look like they got a bright future and they're going to get there. And then when they're 19 or 20, there's still a chance. And then they're 21, 22, and you're thinking, oh boy, it hasn't really popped yet. It's going to happen. How much longer do I wait? And then contractually, you get to a point where it's now or never. So I think now that they've moved on from Zach LaRue and Fedor Svechnikov, the next two, and he went into some detail, not specific for these two names, but he basically said that it fit perfectly with what DMase said yesterday about creating competition. You're not going to work for it. We're not going to just open up a spot and say, okay, you were a first-round pick. You were a guy that we traded somebody big for. Here's your spot. Good luck. Here's your chance. Some teams do that, and some teams go the other way. And that's what McFarland, who has no emotional attachment to these guys, is saying. Bust down the door. Make me notice you. And I think that fits Joe Campbell in good shape.
Well, I mean, you have a GM, and he's talking. That's what he has said. He's talking. He's coming. Especially with young guys, because he specified the back end of the roster, the middle of the roster, or the middle guys. He's talking to certain guys. He won't say it by name, but he's talking to certain guys. So he's going to create competition to allow these guys to show whether they belong in the NHL or not. So you don't have to call out what he exactly said. I'm sure everybody in that locker room heard it.
When I look at the Predators roster right now, the players who come to mind who should be on the list, Willie, you mentioned two of them, Jochen Kemmel and Reed Schaefer. Kemmel was the Predators' 2022 first-round draft pick, and as we documented when the Predators traded for Jack Drury, none of the Predators' first-round picks between 2016 and 2021 are parts of the organization anymore. Dante Fabro, Ellie Tolvanen, Philip Tomasino, Yaroslav Starov, Fedor Svechnikov, Zachary Luker. So Kemmel could be next to be shown the door if he does not show
Or
promise.
is he a trade piece? Well, he still has some trade value. I do wonder that.
And Schaefer was not a first-round pick of the Predators. He was a first-round pick. He was a part of the return for Matthias Ekholm. So that was a move made by David Boyle near the end of his tenure with advising for Gary Trotz, because when Gary Trotz came in, he helped David Boyle with that deadline in, 2023? So Schaefer's been a part of the organization now for a couple of years. He's on notice. The big player,
Yes.
the big player to me is Jonathan Marchessault.
No question.
And even if he doesn't move, because as we have documented, he has a no movement clause in his contract. So if he doesn't want to move, he doesn't have to move. But Marchessault could be a player who loses his spot in the lineup. I can't imagine, let me clarify. I can't imagine Marchessault being a healthy scratch. but I can see him being moved further down the lineup at 5-on-5. I can see him losing a spot on the power play, and that might make things uncomfortable for him, and that may compel him to say, get me out of here. But when I think about the notable big name players who Chris McFarland was talking to in that clip we played, Marchessault stands out first and foremost.
And here I think is the dynamic market, because I agree with you. When you listen closely and you hear players you wouldn't normally think about moving off from, who fits that profile? I think for different reasons, those three guys you mentioned fit the profile. You wouldn't normally, those guys have been on prospect list, the first two guys. And then Marchessault is an established winning player with a lot of notches on the belt. Right? He's got the Conn Smythe, he's got the ring, he's got a 40-goal season, he's time tested, but it just hasn't fit. The thing about Marchessault now, especially with Maverick Board in the fold, still an assignment, but they're going to that will get done on very time. Even if somebody zips in out of nowhere and gets an offer sheet, there's no reason why Preds wouldn't match the offer sheet. So he's going to be on the ball, and they have sung his praise. They went out, they made a big effort. He's in the race. So that makes Marchessault even more expendable than he was. And this is what's been going on with that. We know he's got a no trade clause, he can veto in the trade. But now he's got to be looking at it, and Chris McFarland has said, while keeping the specifics of a conversation quiet, he's talked to all the players. There's no question he's talked to Marchessault. So what could be in that discussion? He said, I'm going to be honest with the players. So if he tells them some of the things you just said, Adam, hey, we're not going to guarantee you a spot on the power play. We're not going to guarantee you a spot on the top side. Andrew Burnett is in a bind, I would say. He has been in a bind with Marchessault in the 2 years because, number one, Andrew Burnett's got to do what he needs to do to win games. But also, he is a guy that, having been a player, he understands the egos in a locker room. He understands the personality. And he has, to his credit, he has given Jonathan Marchessault time and time again chances to be the Jonathan Marchessault that they signed. True? Yes. Like, I think there have been a lot of times where he's not playing real well, and a lot of people go, why don't they bench Marchessault? John Hines used to do that.
Yes. He famously near the beginning of his tenure as Predators coach, he benched Ryan Johansson, Matt Duchene, Philip Forsberg, and said, if you're not going to play the way I need you to play, you're not going to play.
I was specifically thinking of Johansson and Duchene. He was not afraid to do that.
I think Forsberg maybe once or twice.
Yeah, maybe once.
Yes. But specifically Johansson and Duchene.
Over the course of his career, much more consistent, even though he does have some ups and downs within the year, but usually the numbers are better. I think Marchessault, Andrew Burnett is reluctant to do that because sometimes he feels in the big picture it's going to cause more harm than good to do that. So, how does Marchessault feel about it? Is that opening up his mind and saying, yeah, okay, I'll look at some new places? Because, like you said, Adam, this new market, his contract isn't a huge one. It's much more about the fit. So I do wonder what those conversations are like. He mentioned threading the needle. So threading the needle could be, if you find Marchessault, go with a Kimmel or somebody else with another draft pick and find a defenseman from another team that upgrades your defense. That might be the definition of theory of threading.
Should they expect more? Honestly,
Oh,
because,
yes.
No, but I'm looking at it. He's had a long career. But eventually you start. 2 years ago, he was sort of on par with how he played from Texas. But then last year there was a dip. So what are they expecting? That would be my question is, what are you expecting with an aging player? Are you expecting to continue to play the way he was playing in Vegas? You can't expect that. So what are they looking for? Can he be a third or fourth liner and help your team in that?
The 40-goal season he had.
That was an outlier.
The 40-goal season, yes. The 40-goal season he had before coming here was an outlier. I would have to look at the numbers, but off the top of my head, I would say that Marchessault throughout his career has been somewhere between a 18 and 25 goal guy every year.
But I would say closer to 25 in his prime.
Yeah.
But it's also like as Chris McFarland has said. He said it yesterday again. It's not necessarily just how many goals you get in the context. Are you helping us win? And along the lines, are you scoring goals? And Marchessault part of what they brought him to is score some goals. Being on the power play is big. But right now, I think that you can debate. Remember, the first power play unit, Adam, you can help win us on the other side. The first power play, there are 2 power play units you're going to use. We won't catch them. But the first 5 can play 2/3 to 3/4 of the power play minutes. Jonathan Marchessault, who has been the default guy on the first 5, is he better now than a Matt Wood who's coming up, a Luca Evangelista? Those guys are pushing, right? You may not need Jonathan Marchessault on the first power play. But again, Jonathan Marchessault holds the cards because he has no trade card.
615-737-1025. You heard from Chris McFarland. Sounds like some players have been put on notice. Who do you think McFarland was referring to in those comments? 615-737-1025. We'll take your reaction. Plus, I took the liberty of putting together my projected Predators lineup based on the moves they've made so far. Let's get your thoughts on it. Coming up next, 615-737-1025. Willy, Donna, Derek Mason, Adam Biggin, 1025 the game.
This is Jeff Adam. Your home for Sounds Baseball is 94.9 The Fan and the Game Nashville app. With select games on Sports Talk 8:30 a.m. Catch every great Sounds moment right here on the Game Nashville Sports Network. Sounds Baseball is brought to you locally by
Twin Peaks, home of the 29-degree draft beers, madfireworks.com, Family Leisure, and Social Cantina.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan and the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Family Leisure's 4th of July sale.
Above ground pools starting at only $19.99. 24-foot pools are only $29.99. Guaranteed installation in less than 7 days.
Wow, that's fast. Family Leisure's 4th of July sale has big savings on patio furniture from all the big rivets, like Porter Garden, 3 Palms, Woodard, and Tropiton.
Hundreds of Chase lounges at buy one, get one at half price.
It's Family Leisure's 4th of July sale going on now at those huge locations, Franklin and Indian.
Get ready, Nashville. Shed of Bourbon Music City Grand Prix roars back to Nashville Super Speedway, July 18th and 19th. Don't blink. This is the fastest racing on earth. The NTT IndyCar Series tearing up the track. Bring the family. Kids tickets start at just $6 with any adult ticket. Experience heart-pounding racing, live music, and so much more. Tickets are selling fast. Grab yours now at MusicCityGP.com. Music City Grand Prix. Feel the speed. Hear the music.
Willy Donick here, Pellet Windows and Doors of Nashville. My friends at Pellet Windows and Doors of Nashville have amazing special deals right now, and they're just in time to replace those old, drafty windows. I endorse Pellet because they're the highest quality windows and doors, the most trusted brand, and they improve the value of your home over all the others. So go with the experts at Pellet Windows and Doors of Nashville. Visit PelletNashville.com for more information.
I got a picture of her taking my headquarters all over the South. Evidence of Dr. Daniel Lee, veterinary workers that is the veterinary practice. Dr. Lee is what that is also an exotic vet. What? That's right, an exotic vet. He'll work with you on the first exotic vets are his vet. Looking to stay in the local farm animals on the west side of that. Dr. Lee is veterinary care. It's flying speed. Check it out, HaleyVet.com. That's HaleyVet.com.
Head to the Music City Grand Prix. Make big shots on Second Avenue. Your pit stop. $7 double shots, $5 jello shots, ice cold beer, and live music. Big Shots Nashville until the party starts.
Okay, make sure that your neighbor's lights are on, yours won't. Soon after hours occurs, you watch a truck pull up next door and unload a generator because they claim it. And Joe Rexer here will let you know about Rapid Response Generators. It's a membership that guarantees you priority access to backup power when the grid goes down. While everyone else is scrambling, Rapid's gets served first. So don't be the one watching from the door. Visit RapidResponseGenerators.com or join today. Live from Wrestling is coming to downtown Nashville, and it's absolutely free. Saturday, July 11th at Old Smoky 6th and Peabody, Pro Wrestling Symphony presents Free for All, featuring Colby Carter, Royal Prestige, Kaya McKinnon, Russ Hamilton, Jake Painter, and so much more. Bell time is 2 p.m. All ages are welcome. And did we mention it's free? See you there.
Had the accident in July. It was a different experience. It's gone well because I have.
As far as prospects go, when a player is ready to have a jersey in our lineup, he'll have one. It won't matter whether they're 18, 19, or 31. We're not going to go into this and say, this player has a roster spot. Things have to be earned here. It's the NHL is the winning business. The AHL is hopefully going to be part of the winning business because we believe that culturally. But the AHL is where your players are going to get good ice time and develop and grow, and their play will tell us, we believe, when they're ready to have a roster spot in the NHL, and that's what we believe. I think long term is going to have success because that's how you have to do it, right? And for us, those young guys, their development on and off the ice is going to be crucial. We want to surround our young NHL players with character builders, guys that have seen winning, have touched winning, that know what it looks like, and can teach these young guys, what goes into that on and off the ice. And I think some of the players that we've added, like, Jack Drury and Maverick Bork and, Ross Colton, they've seen what winning looks like, and, they can certainly impart, some things to our young guys, and that's what we want them to do. We want them to earn. We want them to kick the door down and take a National Hockey League job. It's not given.
That was Chris McFarland yesterday, following the first day of NHL free agency. Willy Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan here with you as we approach July 4th weekend. Let's get to your reaction first. 615-737-1025. One texter says, should I start mentally preparing my daughter for losing Evangelista? No, I don't think Luke Evangelista is on the proverbial hot seat. I do think it's funny that you have to mentally prepare your daughter. We do know how popular Luke Evangelista is. Man. Do you think, I'm imagining Luke Evangelista on the cover of Tiger Beat. Do they still make those magazines?
Well, he was one of the most beautiful.
He was one of Nashville's most beautiful people. But I'm thinking of the old magazines with Corey Feldman and Corey Haim, Luke Evangelista. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Posters on the walls. Yes.
Duran was on there, all of those. Yeah.
So I don't think you have to mentally prepare your daughter. I don't think Luke Evangelista is on this list.
But he is, the question with him, I think, would be, now that he is eligible for an extension and he is a restricted free agent next year, it's not like it has to get done today, but I do wonder this summer if there will be talks about an extension with Evangelista.
One texter says, Beverly says, dear Lord, please let McFarland be referring to Marchessault and Shea. I'm sure they're wonderful men, but they're not helping the Predators at all. Just my opinion.
I would put Shea in a different category. Brady Shea, I think, has worked very, very hard. And this is not to say Marchessault hadn't tried, but I think Shea made considerable progress learning to play in a different way and improved from year 1 to year 2. And if you can have the same improvement from year 2 to year 3, I feel like he will be, especially at $7 million, now that a lot of high-end, top 4 defensemen are going to cost $10 million or more. That's the reality. $7 million isn't that much. I think Brady Shea is worth and will stay around.
One texter says, Marchie hasn't been given a fair shot. I wonder how many goals and points Forsberg would have if he played on the line with Svechkov and Sissons all the time. Although did Sissons play? No, Sissons was gone by then, right? No, he did. Would they have played together? First year, right. With Svechkov and Sissons all the time. He should produce more with Bork and Colton. I mean, I have a hard time.
It's possible. I mean, that is worth bringing in. Now, not having a fair shot, I don't agree.
Yeah, I don't agree. I think he's been given plenty of opportunities. I mean,
yes.
But to your point, Willie, about how Andrew Burnett coaches, I remember, I think this would have been last season. Maybe it was the season before. You can tell me. The Predators were in Montreal, and they were on the power play. And Marchessault attempted like a blind backhand pass toward the point. An errant pass. Montreal went the other way, scored on the shorthanded goal. And Marchessault, at least based on playing time, received no punishment for that. And I remember asking Brunette about that. It was not this past season, it was the season before, because I remember.
Because I don't think it was like Montreal. There was the game last year where he tried to shoot into the open net. It got blocked.
Yeah.
By Lane Hudson, who zipped it down the ice to Cole Caulfield, who tied the game dramatically.
Yeah. My point is, I think he has made mistakes and hasn't necessarily been, for lack of a better word, reprimanded for them. So I would not agree with the texter's point that he hasn't been given a fair shake.
Now Barry Trotz has said, though, and I do think this is fair, but it goes to Derek's point. You're competing for ice time. You have to earn the right to play with Ryan O'Reilly. And if you're not playing well, the coach at some point's got to say, I got to go with the guys that are playing the best with the best center. So that's part of the equation. But I think, especially with the power play and with being in the lineup and ice time, they've given Jonathan Marchessault a lot of chances to jump up there and play the big minutes and produce.
Yeah, he's had his chance. They tried to change things around for him, so much so. And we talked about this, was it this year or last year, where Andrew Burnett didn't want to, it was like bench the guy, do something, and he didn't want to do it because he was capitulating to him and trying to find a way for him to fit in the team and be go out there and do the job that he needs to do.
Well, the issue is,
and it didn't happen. So
yeah, my like this is something you can relate to, Derek. Mm-hmm. It's easier for a coach to quote unquote punish a role player. Like, I'll give you another example from a couple of years ago. I believe it was either Cole Smith or Michael McCarron.
It was McCarron.
It was
I know
McCarron.
exactly because I was sitting with you during the game.
Yes, you were, because you were not calling that game.
Yes, it was an ESPN game. Yeah.
An absolutely egregious turnover at
a bad time
at the defensive blue line. Leon Draisaitl swoops in, scores on a breakaway, and you didn't see McCarron for like 25 minutes.
Yeah, he got benched the rest of the game.
Right.
That's it happens.
So it's easier to do that with a role player than it is to someone who you are counting on to score goals and help you win games. You can relate to that in any sport. You don't want to punish a player who's going to catch touchdowns or score points.
Yeah, I get that part. But then there comes a point where his lack of production is hurting the team. So you have to make, this is the reason it's different from football, because if I bench that guy, he may not play the whole game. Marchessault would have played because he would have been a part of another line, but just shift it, because we talked about that. Can they shift him down a line? Can they do something? But they chose not to. So I think it's easier and listen, I haven't been a part of the sport and I haven't been a coach, but I would think it would be easier than it would be in football, because I can justify just not necessarily benching him for the game, but just moving him down a line. He's
Downgrading
still
his
going to
role.
play.
And they have done some of that. But at the same time, Andrew Brunette has been willing. Adam, is this a fair statement? He is, over the 2 years, he has endured the heat.
Yes.
From Marchessault going public saying they're not using me right, or the coach needs to make adjustments, like implying. So Andrew Brunette has shown a lot of patience and has never fired back publicly to say, hey, I'm the coach. I control the playing time. It's not how he goes. He believes in the way he goes about it, more of the quote player's coach, right? There are some hardline guys, and I would put John Hines much more in that category. Peter Laviolette, no question, much more in that category. Barry Trotz, no doubt, more in that category. Andrew Brunette, a little bit more. I'm the former player. I massage egos. I'm going to play the long game. But still, I think you'd have to circle Marchessault. And I'm not going out on a limb and saying anything that others wouldn't. It just hasn't fit for one reason or another for 2 years.
Brandy says, as long as mac and cheese is safe, then I am happy. Referring, of course, is that Ryan O'Reilly's band? Is that what mac and cheese is?
Hold on.
I don't know much about mac and cheese.
Adam.
What?
You have a 4.5-year-old. You don't know about mac and cheese?
He's not into. He does like mac and cheese to
But
eat.
he's not into the music.
Okay, we need to make an introduction.
Okay,
mac and cheese is the whole thing.
Okay,
it's awesome.
Well, next time
It's right up your alley.
Next time,
Arlo, you're depriving Arlo of some great kid songs.
Next time we're in the car, I will put on mac and cheese.
Like it's a fairly recent release.
Is it an album? A
Yeah,
whole album?
he's got an album of kid songs.
How many songs?
He's got an album.
Oh, just whole, like
Yeah.
15, 16
Yeah.
songs? Oh,
Pizza
wow.
Party is the big hit. It's the victory song. It's great. And there's other ones too.
I apologize to all mac and cheese fans out there. Let's go
Get with this program.
I know.
We need to get you a copy of mac and cheese.
Oh, right. Will do. Let's go to Jerry on our phone line, driven by Wilson County, Hyundai.com. Jerry, thank you for calling and waiting. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I want to discuss something y'all talked about a few minutes ago about the first round draft picks, that we don't have one now that's been from 2016 to 2021.
Correct.
Now, I know a lot of those have not been high draft picks. They've been sometimes later in the first round. But you would think with all those picks, and all those go back on David Poole and not Barry Trotz, that we would at some point hit on one of those that, and in fact, during the whole time we've been a franchise, we have not hit on a forward or a center that's come in and been able to be a high scorer for this team. And all that, to me, goes back not only on Poole, but on the scouting system that, you would think, broken clocks right 2 times a day, so you'd think we'd get lucky at some point and find somebody during that time that we've been a franchise that could have come up and been a high score for us. And it just doesn't seem like it's happened. And to me, a lot of that's got to go back on David Poole.
Thank you, Jerry. And it's similar to what we've been discussing with the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans are where they are right now because of all of the big misses they've had on recent first-round draft picks. And Jerry brings up a good point. We discussed this yesterday. When the Predators were drafting in the first round between 2016 and 2021, they were still being competitive.
Oh,
so,
that was the best years of the team, so they were picking lower.
Right, precisely. And you don't need a PhD to know that the lower you pick in a draft, the longer odds you face of that player being an impact player. But as Jerry said, you would hope that at least one of those players, Fabro, Tolvanen, Tomasino, LaRue, Svechkov, Askarov, would have become something. You hope that the acquisition of Maverick Bourque can help you fill that gap. That
right.
And
Askarov, we have to put an asterisk
Yes.
next to because they traded him, and so they have, as a result, they have Riker Lee.
Yes.
And they have, who is, by the way, I watched him today. Whoo, they are high on him. That
Future
kid
Stars game
can
tomorrow at
shoot.
10:30 a.m.
And then there's David Edstrom, who is going to, this is a big year for him. I do think bigger guys tend to take a little longer. So those are the two guys that are the principal parts of Askarov. So that story has yet to be told. And then in 2018, they didn't have a first-round pick because they traded it to get Ryan Hartman.
Right. One texter says, Adam, come on, mac and cheese is the jam. Well, is it mac and cheese or is it jam? That was a dad joke. 615-737-1025.
You had yesterday. It was better. The one about the Belgian
the
waffles.
Belgian waffling.
That was much
yes,
better.
Yeah. 615-737-1025. I will listen. I will make a solemn vow to all of you listening and to Willie and Derek. I will play mac and cheese for my 4.5-year-old son this weekend.
Good.
And I will bring his review to the show on Monday. I will bring his review. 615-737-1025. All right. We did not get to it in this segment. So coming up next, after all of the moves Chris McFarland has made, I have put together my projected Predators lineup so far. And I want to know what y'all think. 615-737-1025. Willie, Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan. We are broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service.
Who is this? Who is
Two Live
that?
Crew.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Can we
Yes.
just take a moment? Derek was the one asking Willie and me, who is this? Just think about that for a moment.
Just because I'm a black man don't mean I know
You
who
said
that was.
that was not what I was going
I know
for
you can't
at
say
all.
That's why I said it.
I don't know
Even
what
I
you're
knew
talking
Two Live
about.
Crew, Derek. Come on.
Excuse me?
I said even I knew Two Live Crew.
Man, I didn't know that one when it played. I didn't pick up on it
Banned
quick
in the
enough.
USA.
I didn't pick up on it quick enough. So it wouldn't have been the first thing that came to mind when you were talking about that group. But I know other songs of theirs.
Of course. But that's today's theme, of course.
That was kind of like, if I remember correctly, that was kind of the last hurrah after their run of very distinctly dirty songs that got everybody's attention.
Hence why they were banned in the USA.
Right,
Exactly.
right.
You have to cut it down. Cut it down a little bit.
The funniest is when they would release the songs for MTV or the radio, they had to change a lot of stuff.
You might as well not even show the video.
Right.
I had to double and triple check that was the edited version
Oh, man,
of a
yes,
Two Live
yes.
Good
Crew
point.
track.
Yes.
All
Case
right.
in point.
So based on the moves the Predators have made so far this offseason, I've put together my projected Predators lineup, and I want y'all's opinion on it. 615-737-1025. So here is what I have, top to bottom, left to right. Forsberg, O'Reilly, Evangelista, Stamkos, Bork, Wood, or Stamkos, Wood, Bork. Wood played center last season. Bork is a natural center. Chris McFarland said yesterday he's going to give Bork every opportunity to hold down a spot at center. So you could have Stamkos, Bork, Wood, or Stamkos, Wood, Bork. You choose. Colton, Drury, Marchessault, Pinchuk, Kerfoot, Höglander. Let me repeat my forward lines quickly. Forsberg, O'Reilly, Evangelista, Stamkos, Bork, Wood, or Stamkos, Wood, Bork. Colton, Drury, Marchessault, Pinchuk, Kerfoot, Höglander. Willie Donick, your thoughts?
I think that's a good start. I'm curious about the Bork at center only because Chris McFarland really did jump out unsolicited and say he thinks Maverick Bork can play some center. And at camp, you're going to have to sort out a lot of these guys who can play wing or center. Wood, Bork, Colton, Kerfoot, all of those guys could go and you could slide them around, which is good. You want them to be able to be versatile. That helps Andrew Burnett be able to figure out the best possible lineup. So with all that said, one thing I looked at with what you sorted out, let's take line number 2. Or actually the first 6 in any combination. They're all right-handed shots.
Oh.
And Marchessault is all right-handed shots. Not that that's a huge thing for a forward line, but with centers sometimes, like if you wanted to have a tandem type of center, and I've seen them do this with O'Reilly. Sometimes you have almost 2 centers on the same line.
Yep.
So I don't know. That would be a great question for a hockey coach is if you have way more righties than lefties, do you ideally like to balance the lefties with the righties? Because the new lefties, if you will, Kerfoot's a lefty, Ross Colton's a lefty, Höglander's a lefty, and Vitaly Pinchuk, who is the biggest guy that I can't figure out what they think of him. He had 31 goals in the KHL last year, 25 the year before. So he's bringing something to the table. They had to compete to get him over here. He's a late bloomer. So where does he fit? Maybe they won't know the answer to that until training camp starts. But that's another complete wild card that I'm not sure where he goes. But it also gives you the idea of the numbers here because you didn't even mention Joachim Kemmel, Reed Schaefer, Brady Martin, Pinchuk.
Ozzy Weisblatt.
You put Pinchuk in there. Weisblatt was the other guy.
Yep.
And then so all of those guys, it's crowded, right? Which leads you to believe that, probably one, maybe more than one, will possibly not be there by the time training camp starts.
The other thing, too, my projected top 6 features 3 players who are 24 or younger. Evangelista, Bork, and Wood. So if you're looking for some fresh blood in the top 6, you've got it. On defense, I have top to bottom, left to right, Shea and Yossi, Hagen Perbix, Wilsby and Labushkin. But that does not include Ryan Efko. That does not include Justin Barron, which, that's fine with me. But again,
we still don't know if Barron will be back. They have qualified him, right?
It
But
does
he
not
hasn't
guarantee
signed
that
yet.
he will be back.
I think it's TBD on the D. I just think there are inevitably going to be some changes.
Yes.
Between now and training camp. I think the forward lines are much easier to right now try this exercise because you're asking yourself, I can't remember what you said, Adam. Did you say that Colton and Drury had played some minutes together in Colorado?
Yes.
So that's something to keep in mind. Like a lot of times what coaches will say is like, I like to have line flexibility, but I like to have 2 guys out of the 3 forwards that have chemistry that I like to stick together. So you're not completely blowing up 2 or 3 lines all the time trying to find inevitably you're going to change line combinations. A lot of times if a team's struggling, they'll say, why does the coach keep shaking up the lines? Well, because they're struggling. If they're not struggling, you never change the lines. But inevitably somebody gets hurt, etc., and you have to change something. So lines are going to get shuffled at some point. So you try to keep some semblance of combinations that work.
One texter says, Pinchuk is a weird one because that was a Trotz signing. Very interested to see what they do with him. Cannot put him on a 4th line. The guy is going to need minutes. I've said it once. There are 2 to 3 more trades coming. Kemmel, done with the Preds. Book it. Schaefer, back to Milwaukee. Weisblatt, 13th or 14th forward.
I'm not sure, too. Schaefer, I had a friend of mine who follows us say that Schaefer cannot be sent to Milwaukee without waivers. He may have hit that threshold. I'm not sure. That's another thing that complicates things. Some of these guys, Weisblatt definitely is one that now would need waivers to send down to Milwaukee. So, at some point you can strategically waive a guy and hope that nobody picks him up. Of course, that's what they were hoping for with Tolvanen, and it didn't happen. And all of a sudden, poof, he was gone.
Andrew says, I promise I'm not trying to be a contrarian or a party pooper here, but can someone explain to me why Luca Evangelista is so popular? Statistically speaking, has he not underachieved and underwhelmed since he's been here? Please correct me if I'm wrong. Well, part of his popularity, Andrew, is he is a young, good-looking man. And there are a lot of female Predators fans who love Luca Evangelista for that very reason.
It's hard not to notice that.
Have you seen the guy's hair? I mean, we're all jealous of anybody with hair on this program, but especially Luca Evangelista's hair. He has got a head of hair on him.
He's got personality. And that I don't think is weighing in on why he's a good part. To his credit, he had a very good year last year.
He's a really good playmaking winger. He can score, but I don't think that's his MO. His MO is setting up his teammates. He had 44 assists last season for the Predators. I believe 12 goals. So he can score, sure, but that's not what his bread and butter is.
Well, and let's also put it in perspective. We just got done with a discussion of a lot of first-round picks that have underwhelmed. So Luke Evangelista was a second-round pick. So if you think 56 points last year is underwhelming, I don't know what are you looking for from draft picks? I mean, that's a really good second-round pick. So, and the other thing about Evangelista is his counting stats are solid, not spectacular. He's still pretty young, but his analytics are good. His analytics also indicate that it's a positive. He's driving positive things when he's on the ice. And so some of it's not noticeable. He's not a big hitter, right? Like you said, he doesn't score a ton of goals. He's more of a hockey IQ kind of guy. He's not a blazing speed guy, right? He's not a big guy, but he gets it done with just being a smart player who continues to, I think, learn about the game. He's a guy that I think has been majorly influenced in a positive way by guys like Ryan O'Reilly and Steven Stamkos. So I'm not sitting here saying he's a superstar, but he's a good, solid piece, I think, on a winning team.
615-737-1025. We'll see what else Chris McFarland has in store for the Predators as the offseason continues. 615-737-1025. But it's 5 o'clock. It's our Friday. It's probably a lot of your Fridays as well with the holiday weekend. So we are going to have a Thursday edition of Ask DMase coming up next. 615-737-1025. If you've got a question for Derek, call or text now. 615-737-1025. Willy Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Bingett, 1025 The Game. DMase, Vingan, and Donick, 102.5 The Game. Willie, Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, and Connor Newt here with you. We are live at First Horizon Park. The tarp is on the field, but the Nashville Sounds are scheduled to take on the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. First pitch at 6:35 p.m. on 94.9 The Fan. But no show tomorrow. A holiday weekend for all of us, just like most of you. So today is our Friday, and usually Fridays at 5 in the off season, we have Ask DMase. So if you've got a question for Derek Mason, now is the time. 615-737-1025. Our phone and text lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We'll start with our friend Dylan in Antioch in the spirit of the World Cup. He says, DMase, if you played on the USMNT, could you swallow your pride and participate in the over-the-top flopping and writhing around on the ground that it takes to get calls in FIFA soccer?
I could. I'm not that type of person. I'm just not. If I grew up in soccer, I guess. But if you're asking me, what I think about it now, or if I could do that, I just couldn't. Because I still remember my brother saying, no matter what, get off the field and walk off. Don't let them see you hurt. And you can deal with it once you get on the sideline, but don't let them see you laying there. So that in itself would make me get up. And I don't think I laid on the field, on the NFL field, for a long time unless I just couldn't get up, like physically couldn't get up. And I think both of those were really concussions where I had to be helped off the field. But I couldn't do it. It becomes comical after a while, because my thing is, they just pop up after that. It's like they're laying on the ground for like 2 minutes, the game stopped, and then all of a sudden they pop up and they're ready to go again.
You know what's funny to me about the whole soccer part of it? The women's soccer players, they don't do that.
No.
They don't do that. It's only the men. And I've heard a lot of the women's soccer players giggle and stuff like, "What
are you doing?
What are you guys doing?" You know, like, what? You don't need to do that. It's just so embedded in the soccer culture from the men's side.
Rich Eisen had a funny bit on his show recently. He was talking about his top 5 observations from a casual soccer fan watching the World Cup. And one of them was, anytime you're hit below the knee, hold your shin and ride like you've been stabbed by a foot-long knife.
Yes. Totally.
Oh, man. They get tripped. They fall on their own knee. And it's like they're rolling around. And I'm thinking, okay, they're bringing out the paramedics. I mean, the trainers are coming out. They're going to take them off. Only for him to get up a minute later and start running around. It's like, come on, man.
There's this, somewhere 50, 100 years ago, whatever it was, I guess because the referee can only see so much from wherever he is in the field.
They had to embellish.
You have to embellish. When you get hit or fouled, you go down. And then you get right, and you fool the ref. But in hockey, it's the other way. You are chastised by embellishing.
And what the NHL does is the NHL basically shames these players.
Right.
Because if you pick up too many embellishment penalties, you get fined for it. And the NHL will announce this player's been fined for multiple infractions of embellishment.
And the referees know the list.
Didn't the NBA have that? They had the embellishment rule for a minute there.
Oh, yeah. You can
and
flop
then they got rid of it because it was like, nah, we can't, because they were finding people, or they had to, go in and figure out, was he embellishing, or was he flopping, or was he not? So they've taken it out completely.
I feel like, didn't they put in a flopping?
College does have one, I believe.
Flopping rule? I think they do.
It's a good question.
But I did see this in the World Cup, but it only has to do with, I think, big plays, maybe not in the middle of the field, ones that take place in the more of the scoring zone. But I did see a guy get a yellow card for a flop. Basically, he got initially a call that he got tripped,
and they went back.
And they went back and looked, and the guy was like, "Nobody touched you."
Well, if that's the case,
nobody
they can give a lot of flopping calls out because half of these dudes don't get touched.
I know.
In 2022. The NCAA approved awarding a technical foul for flopping in men's basketball. If a player is called for flopping, the opposing team would shoot 1 free throw.
I think somebody got a flopping call in this year's
tournament. I
And
can't
it
remember.
cost them a lot. It cost them basically. It swung the game a little bit. I'm trying to remember what team that was. I'm thinking. I don't know why I'm thinking Duke.
But it's so ingrained. It's so ingrained in soccer culture that for those of us who do not watch soccer on a regular basis, it stands out more. If you watch soccer all the time, it's just part of the game. You're sort of desensitized to it. But we were watching a game earlier this week. A player got, I would say, gently nudged by another player's elbow, and he threw his head back like Cosmo Kramer allegedly being spit on by Keith Hernandez. Like it's like,
Yeah.
And to me, as someone who doesn't watch soccer all the time, it does stand out. One texter said, "Did Shea Gilgeous-Alexander miss his calling playing soccer?"
Oh, man.
He could have.
Now,
you talk about a guy that his reputation was called out.
Yeah,
that was a big
A
storyline.
lot of
Yes.
big name guys were like, okay, enough. I see you. It's time to call out what we're seeing. You're flopping too much. He's too good of a player to get that, and we'll see if he adjusts his game.
There were extensive research studies done during the NBA playoffs on how many times SGA fell when attempting a shot, even if he wasn't touched by a defender.
They even made a video game, which they had to take down.
That's right. Joey from Bellevue says, soccer is my favorite sport, but I have to agree. The players are total sissies. Even my favorite team's players, I'll be like, stop acting like, well, I can't say that word. LOL. Randy says, DMase, what is your favorite dessert on the 4th of July? Mine is strawberry shortcake. Happy 250th. Hold on. Are there 4th of July affiliated desserts?
I didn't think so. I just felt anything that was either red,
white,
had red in
or
it,
blue,
white in it, or blue, whether it be a cake, a pie, a cookies,
a bomb pop.
A
bomb pop.
I used to love bomb pops, but do you know the bad thing about bomb pops? Your lips is all red.
Oh
blue,
yeah,
and
boy,
whatever
you're
color.
gonna
Yes.
you're gonna be red.
But are there like when we talk about the 4th of July, there are obviously foods associated with the 4th of July, such as hot dogs. But are there desserts affiliated that I've been unaware of?
Apple
Not
pie,
that I
bub.
know. Is it?
Yeah, it's an American invention.
But I didn't think that was just solely.
But when I think
know,
apple pie,
on
I don't
4th of
necessarily think of the 4th of July. I just think I like apple pie. I'll eat it every day
I
of the
can see
year.
if you said cherry pie, then okay. Cherry, red, apple.
That and
Very
people
good.
like to make cakes with, like vanilla icing, and then they'll put the flack, and it'll be the strawberries and the blueberries as the stripes and the stars.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Makes sense. Okay.
But there's not like just one. Or you're saying apple pie is the
like
one.
pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving,
Right.
It's not. I don't see an equivalent of that, like a one that's distinctly for that time.
That's what I'm saying. Let's see. Where was that good? There was a really good text in here. I have to find it. One texter wanted. Oh, here it is. I'm sorry. What was it? I don't know. I remember it off the top of my head. Sorry. One texter wanted to know. Here it is. DMase, are you a wave when you let someone merge in front of you, guy, or not?
Oh, I am. I am.
Or vice versa.
I despise. And I know a lot of times people probably don't see my wave because my windows are tinted in the back. If they let me in, I'm sure they can see it in the front. Like I tell them to go on in there. But I despise people. If I let you in and you don't throw up the backhand, like thank you. Oh, I don't like you.
To me, this is the litmus test of whether you're a good person or not. Like I go out of my way when someone lets me merge. I will hold up the hand for a good 3 seconds, 3 to 4 seconds, so that the person behind me can acknowledge the wave. Like it's not just like it's like I'm going to hold it up. So if you're not looking immediately, my hand is up. I am acknowledging you.
Okay, so if you have tinted windows, do you need to roll your window down to get
Yes.
your hand out?
But majority of the times I have I have my sunroof open, which you then can sort of see through.
Okay.
But if not, I have my windows rolled down, and I just kind of stick my hand out like, "Hey, thank you," and I keep going.
Okay.
But I hate people when they don't do.
I found myself doing the wave, but
Uh-huh.
thinking I don't think the person can see me. They may not know that I'm waving.
Well,
but
I'm
you
waving.
know you wave.
I did know, so I know in my heart that I
Right.
waved.
That's why I hold up the hand for a good 3 Mississippi. So if
And
they
your
don't,
windows are not tinted?
my windows are not tinted.
Okay.
So if they can't see it, I did the courtesy.
Because sometimes it's,
Hand
the,
goes
it's
up.
the right hand that you see through the back
Yes.
of the car.
Yes, 'cause you're
But
like,
if
hey.
you have the tinted, you like I don't know
Just
if you've
like,
seen it. You
sit
may
it
not
out.
see it.
You know, sit it out. But you know you did it.
Yes.
That's what it's just a habit.
But
now
the
for
person
me.
may not have seen it. They're like, I don't know if he waved. I don't know.
Well, if you
Did
don't
he
have
wave?
if you don't have tinted windows and you don't wave, yeah, I despise
It makes me instantly regret doing you a favor.
Exactly.
If I let you in and you don't acknowledge me, I immediately regret it. Like, I should not have done that. You were unworthy of being put in front of me in line. So,
you know what else I dislike? The person that zooms past you just to get over, and then they go to speed limit. It's like, well, why didn't you just stay on the side of me or behind me? Because you're not turning. You just had to get in front of me, didn't you? Just to go to speed limit. I don't understand that. Never understood that.
Clinton Clarksville says, I roll my windows down. Chad says, where do we land on flashing the headlights as an acknowledgement? I'm okay with that.
I can't do that. It's too many. Yeah, I grew up in a city where you do that.
Yeah, I know. I've always said that's
exactly.
like, is that an urban myth or is that
It
real?
could be an urban myth, but I don't chance it. I
Me
do
either.
not
I've always
chance
been
it.
like, wait a minute.
Wait
what
a
if
minute.
it's-
Yeah.
I'm unaware of this urban myth.
There's like this old urban myth that if you flash the blinkers at somebody, it
like if somebody had their lights out,
right,
and
you're
you flipping,
yeah, you're saying turn your lights on because your headlights
Yes,
are off.
yes.
then they turn around and follow you.
Right. That was the urban myth.
Yeah.
Like, oh, don't do
So
that.
I don't know if it
because-
ever happened,
Yeah.
but I didn't take a chance.
This sounds like the start of a. This sounds like the start of a.
He's never heard it. Well, I
You've
guess
never
that
heard
was
that.
more so our our sort of age.
I do
group
remember
at
the first time.
Yeah.
Saying, oh, don't do that. That's somebody they're being initiated into
Exactly,
something. Like,
absolutely.
And that's the thing. Once you flash them, they're gonna.
Yeah.
They're gonna. Yeah.
They come. They gonna follow.
Well, that's a problem for me because I do that all the time when I'm letting someone in. I will flash. I will flash the lights to let them know, come on over, and you better friggin' wave, or I'm gonna follow you.
I just tell them. I just do this with my hand, like. Wave my hand, tell them to come over.
I did think of you earlier today, Derek. When did you see this daredevil couple who climbed to the top of the Empire State Building?
Yeah, I saw it. And my knees,
They
got
buckled
very instantly. They buckled. Oh my goodness.
So in case you missed it, this is from ABC News. A daredevil couple who climbed to the top of the Empire State Building on Wednesday allegedly slept inside the skyscraper the night before in secret and appeared to have broken through a door to get to the antenna. Officers could not initially go up to the couple during their stunts.
I'm sure.
Which ended with one of the climbers proposing to the other because they had to power the antenna down for safety.
Can you imagine? You're with your partner, the two cops. Like that's a TV show. Like it would be
What's
a good
going
odd
on?
couple.
You got
Adam
up?
and Derek. Yeah.
911 Nashville.
Yeah, 911. Okay, partner, you got this. Go up there and get it. Tell him to get down.
Adam, you go. You did it. I've always said, because I've seen in movies where, and whether it's a Die Hard type of movie or some other type of movie where the buildings are collapsing downtown and people got to walk across them to get to the other side.
Yeah.
They got to jump. Now I know why some people get stuck and they just can't move. Because I would be the person to be like, no, I ain't doing that.
Yeah.
I just got to stay here. I just got to stay here. I am not.
And then you
walking
got
across
that
the
person
bridge.
in the movie going, "You have to.
Exactly.
You don't have a choice. You gotta go. Jump to me. I can't make
I
it.
would be
You
like,
have
no.
to. The fire's coming. Whatever it is. Yeah.
I'm going to burn.
It was
I
a
can't do
Russian
that.
couple with a current address in New Jersey.
Uh-huh.
The couple was charged with multiple felonies,
of course,
including reckless endangerment, burglary, and other charges.
Okay, so the question is, was it worth it?
I'm sure it was because he promoted his website or his podcast, and he's gonna get a slap on the wrist. They ain't gonna do much time in jail. Probably have to do community service. But you've gotten what you wanted.
Clearly,
The
couple was trying to upstage the other wedding happening in New York City this week. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
Can I throw one more in about the stunts like
Of
that?
course.
For the quote content creators.
Yes.
Right? There's a really good documentary. I think it's HBO, but you have to check me on that. But they document a bunch of quote content creators who became famous for one viral thing or another, and it just went crazy. And they're like, I can make money off this. So
Mm.
they sort of turned their career towards other stunts.
Oh man.
And I think it's constructive because so many people are on their phones thinking, oh, I might have it. What if I did a TikTok and it really went crazy? There's this myth, I think, that so many people are making money doing that stuff. The reality in the studies, this is sort of the point of the documentary, is some people are making money, but not as many as you think.
Exactly.
There was like some people in there that they're like, I can't recapture the magic. I never made anything off of it.
Wow.
I've just kind of screwed my life up trying to do this. Like it's sad in a lot of cases because these are mostly super young people,
Yeah.
right?
Well, the street closures for the Swift-Kelsey nuptials have been released by the city of New York. And,
I'm sure the regular New Yorkers have no
well,
problem.
if you
with
thought
this.
if you thought that the street closures for games at Madison Square Garden during the NBA Finals was restrictive, wait until you see these. But this was one of my favorite little pieces of information on this upcoming wedding from Variety. Apparently, invitees received official digital invites containing watermarks and came bundled with NDAs. While sources would not name the dollar amount parties would be liable for if the wedding details leaked, here's some perspective. For a simple appearance like presenting at an award show, stars like Beyonce have been known to attach $1 million in penalties to their NDAs if their attendance is revealed beforehand. And that's for showing up at a red carpet, not for a watershed celebrity wedding that threatens to overshadow America's 250th birthday.
Did they say what time the wedding is going to be?
I don't know if they have.
Okay, and the only reason I asked that was this. It's like, man, like, and you're gonna get streets cut off. You said there was gonna be some closures,
Major street closures.
Major street closures. You know it's the 4th of July weekend. You get major street closings downtown New York. How inconsiderate is that as an individual? That has to just think about it. It is 4th of July weekend, so New York is going to be crowded.
Yes.
But there are going to be certain blocks that people can't walk down.
I would love somebody needs to just go up and down the streets of New York and find the quintessential New York accent complaining guy just to be yelling at Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. He's a bum. He doesn't play for the Giants. Get him out of here. He's not New York. You know.
Oh man, I just thought about that as you said when you said the street closures.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking like, man, on 4th of July weekend. Okay.
615-737-1025.
I'm sorry, Swifties. I just had to bring that up.
There are a lot of Swifties out there. 615-737-1025. We will continue Ask DMase coming up next. Plus, because it is 4th of July weekend, I do have to celebrate an American hero. And we will do that as well coming up next. 615-737-1025. Willie knows what's coming. Willie Dunning, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, 1025 The Game. DMase, Vingan, and Donick, 102.5. The Game. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan here with you at First Horizon Park. The tarp is off the field. It's still a little gloomy out there. We'll see if the rain holds off as the Sounds take on the Jumbo Shrimp. Just a fabulous, fabulous name for our baseball team. The Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. They are going down to the
like
Sounds.
jumbo shrimp?
I do like shrimp.
Jumbo?
They don't have to be jumbo.
Oh, okay.
But no problem with jumbo though.
I will eat shrimp. I will eat shrimp of any kind.
I'm a little skeptical of jumbo shrimp.
Why?
Really?
Yeah.
You think it's been genetically altered?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like shrimp is the term that's supposed to tell you something?
Exactly.
They're not supposed to be jumbo?
They're not supposed to be this big.
Shrimp is a shrimp.
It's an oxymoron.
It's
A jumbo
the
shrimp.
name.
It's an oxymoron. One texter says, D-Maze, can you think of a more romantic spot to propose than on top of the Batman building?
Yeah. On the floor of the Batman building.
Per our previous
That's where-
conversation.
Exactly. You will not, no way. I can't do that. I'll pass out before I even get man, I can just feel my knees getting weak right now.
Whenever I see people on social media sharing their engagement announcements, and it's so choreographed, and there are wonderful pictures, and they're in some beautiful setting, some lake, some mountain or something. That's not how it works. Let me tell you quickly how I proposed to my wife, my beautiful wife, Bridget. She was convinced that as soon as I picked up the ring, that I would not be able to wait a single moment to propose. She did not think I would be able to wait. So to show her,
you're petty.
I waited as long as I am. I waited as long as I could. And I made it almost a week with the ring in the apartment before I proposed. And one day I was leaving the apartment and she said something along the lines of, if you leave the apartment, I will tear it apart looking for this ring.
She forced you.
So I turned around, I went to get the ring, and I proposed in our teeny tiny living room in our teeny tiny apartment. And her first response wasn't yes, it was, I have to take my socks off, because she was so hot and sweating from the excitement. That's what she had to do. She did say yes, obviously, but that was her response. I have to take my socks off, because she was perspiring with excitement, being betrothed to me for all eternity.
Oh my
because we're still together. We're still together to this day, obviously.
She strong-armed you.
Yes.
And then after strong-arming
I mean,
she got excited.
I was pretty proud. I made it like 5 days with the ring without.
How long do you think you could have made it had she not said, I'm going to ram?
At least a couple more days.
Okay.
At least a couple more days.
It was a success, and I think you can fairly say you knocked her socks off.
I literally did. It works in this instance. But like whenever I see, I'm sure all of you out there see it too. Whenever you see these engagement photos and they kind of make you sick. It's like this is too perfect. This is too choreographed. Like most people just propose to their girlfriends in their apartment because why not? You know? But that's a different discussion for a different day. One texter says, Derek, would you rather go on a hot air balloon ride or a submarine?
Ooh. I am damn sure not going on a hot air balloon ride.
But you've gone skydiving.
Absolutely. And I know that goes against everything that I said. I know it. But I did it. And that was the one and only and last time that I will do it. Submarine, it all depends on if it's a U.S. submarine, like a fighter. Yeah, I go down on that anytime. But if you talk about one of these little ones, nah.
Yeah.
Nope,
so you would do the submarine if you had to do one. You would
oh yeah, but it would have to be a
naval submarine.
Naval submarine, okay. Yes. Okay. But if it's one of those little ones, no, I ain't doing
that. Anybody can go on. Yeah,
exactly.
There have been some issues with those.
I happened to stumble across a movie the other day, just flipping through the channels. I still do that. Some people are like my kids are like, Dad, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
Willie still has a cord.
Yeah.
I'm surfing the channel.
Who does that?
They're like, what are you surfing the channel?
You know the term cord cutter. Willie is the opposite of that. The cord is still intact at Willie's house.
I like to flip.
So I stumbled.
You're a flipper.
I'm a flipper.
Okay, that
And
was
so
fine.
I stumbled upon a movie in a hot air balloon. It was like
Uh-huh.
a boyfriend and a girlfriend. They were arguing. They had relationship problems, and they were stuck in a hot air balloon. People were injured. There was a rip in the balloon, and I was like, I don't think I can do it. I can't watch it. There's
I
too
wouldn't
much.
do it.
There's too much going on. They're going down.
I've seen
They're
too
climbing
many.
up on stuff and trying to.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I've seen too many air balloon accidents, or
Yeah.
heard of too many air balloon accidents for me to get in there.
I mean, look, I am ultra cautious. It happened to me the other day on the interstate. For those of you who are horror fans, if you've seen, I don't remember which edition of Final Destination it was, but the one that starts off with the major pile up on the interstate. Was
that the first one or the second one?
I don't remember.
The second one, 'cause
but
the
the
first
one
one was the
one with the log,
Yes,
truck.
yes.
Anytime I drive behind a truck carrying anything
Oh,
like
man.
that, I move over. I move over. Whether it's
your mind
logs or
starts going.
pipes or something,
Yeah.
I move over.
dislike people that want to sit there and just ride next to one of those trucks. I'm like, let me get either go past it, do something, but I do not want to be behind this
Or
truck.
even the car carriers. Like, I'm afraid one of those cars is coming unhooked and just falling on top of me when I'm right behind it. So I'm ultra cautious. Drew in Columbia says, Adam, you resisted the ring's corrupting influence like a hobbit. Craig says, just don't tell her you have the ring. I had the ring for a couple of months before I proposed because I wanted to graduate the police academy and have a real job before I proposed. Well, it's a sort of a moot point now because we've been married and engaged for many, many years. But I appreciate that. That's good advice for you out there from Craig if you are considering proposing to your significant others in the near future. But
you had to do what you had to do, man.
Look, sometimes, but even before we were engaged, sometimes when you are in a relationship, you got to prove a point. So that's what I was trying to do. Even before we were married, I was like, I'm proving a point. You don't think I can do it? Oh, I'm going to do it. And I did it quite a long time. Oh, gosh. One texter says, I wanted to ask my now wife's dad permission coming from old school Southern family. But the weekend we were in town, he had every minute planned. He was a vice chancellor for fundraising who brought football back, D2, and mentioned on our way to Taste of the City being held on campus, their new weight room. Halfway through dinner, I asked to see the weight room so I could get him alone. When I proposed to my wife a couple weeks later, she was unsurprised. She said, "You've never shown interest in a weight room before."
He must be a scrawny dude.
I like that.
Oh,
I like that.
man.
We'll continue to take your questions on Ask
Okay.
DMase 615-737-127.
Quickly before.
Yes.
What if you and Bridget had to do it over again?
Yeah.
And she said, pick out any destination or place you want to have our wedding. Would it be in Duke at the University of Duke?
No.
At Cameron Stadium? Cameron
I don't know.
Arena.
I don't know if Cameron Indoor Stadium is available for weddings. I'm sure
Okay.
for the right price.
But if they said, "Hey, Adam,
but
if
it's
you want
not.
to,"
But it's not. But that's not meaningful to her.
Okay.
We were married in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, which is just outside of Charleston, South Carolina. That's where her parents were living at the time, and her dad grew up there. And we had our wedding at this community hall in Mount Pleasant. That meant a lot to her family. It was a beautiful ceremony.
Okay.
I would not have changed that.
Okay.
It was perfect for her. I had a great time. I would not have changed that for the world. But again, it is 4th of July weekend. And despite what my co-hosts think, we do have to take a moment to celebrate a real American hero. That's right, Joey Chestnut. Joey Chestnut.
All right, so set the scene. Is he going to be doing this weekend?
Joey Chestnut going for his 18th mustard belt as the winner of the Nathan's hot dog eating contest.
Was last year the year he was not allowed?
That was
to do
2
it?
years ago.
2 years ago.
He returned
Man.
last year
Yeah.
with a vengeance.
Okay.
And reclaimed his title.
what happened to Kobayashi? What was his name? Was it Kobayashi?
Yes, it was Kobayashi.
What happened to him?
He got driven out of town by Joey, right?
Never to be seen again.
If I
Where
recall,
is he still in the mix?
if I recall correctly, the year Joey Chestnut 2 years ago couldn't do the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. It was because of a sponsorship conflict because he was sponsored by Impossible Foods, which is, not meat, it's plant-based meat. So he couldn't do it. And I believe Netflix counter-programmed the Nathan's hot dog eating contest by having Joey Chestnut versus Kobayashi in a hot dog eating contest. I don't remember who won. But this to me This to me is, let me just read to you this. This is from a month and a half ago. But to me, this paragraph written in the Associated Press is the perfect encapsulation of the United States of America. Competitive eater Joey Chestnut, the reigning champion and 17-time winner of the Nathan's Famous International Hot Dog Eating Contest, will compete in the July 4th spectacle while on probation after he pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor battery charge. If that doesn't say
The spectacle, though. If we're starting with the word spectacle.
if that doesn't say America in one paragraph,
It does.
I don't know what else does. Chestnut,
But Flo Balogun can't play in the next game because he got a red card. Jeez.
Chestnut was accused of slapping a man on the face during a night out at an Indiana bar. He entered a guilty plea April 20th and was sentenced to 180 days of probation in Hamilton County. A judge has granted him permission to travel outside the state, allowing Chestnut to defend his title.
What did the dude say to Joey?
You're not a real athlete. You just eat hot dogs. That's all it took.
So he was found guilty of a misdemeanor.
Yes.
And there was a pathway for him to play in the
Yes.
spectacle.
Unlike-
Flo Balogun can't even get his case heard. He stepped on a guy's ankle. The guy kept playing, and he can't play in the next game.
But let me read that to you again. If someone said to you, can you describe America in one sentence? This would be it. Competitive eater Joey Chestnut, the reigning champion and 17-time winner of the Nathan's Famous International Hot Dog Eating Contest, will compete in the July 4th spectacle while on probation after he pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor battery charge. That is America. That, my friends, is America.
Why did he even have to put that in there about Joey? Why did he leave that out?
Now, will ESPN mention the misdemeanor battery charge tomorrow? Will they gloss over the misdemeanor battery charge? I don't know.
I feel like they should play it up.
He
want
should
the drama.
He should arrive in the back of a paddy wagon. Like he should arrive
with an ankle bracelet on.
right. Like Connor, it'll be for our wrestling fans out there. It's reminiscent of when Dominic Mysterio made his entrance at WrestleMania a couple of years ago
In the back of a SWAT van.
Right, led in by police with his hands and his ankles
Yes.
cuffed. You know,
With
Orange
the old
jumpsuit.
fashioned, either the orange bright jumpsuit,
Maybe he's got
or
the-
or the zebra stripes, like
Yeah.
the Three Stooges in jail, like way back in the day.
With some flip flop
Yeah.
on coming in.
Right. Maybe he's got the Hannibal Lecter mask on.
Yes.
That he needs.
Oh
that-
man, he should have played it up.
No, well,
He should play it up.
One texter says, if a man slaps you on the face, turn to eating 76 Nathan's hot dogs. Chestnut 316. 615-737-1025. In all reality, it is a bucket list item for me to attend the Nathan's hot dog eating contest.
wow.
Yes, I hear it's a fabulous time. 615-737-1025. We'll wrap up the show coming up next. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, 1025 The Game.
All right, the big 4th of July weekend is coming up, and I'm sure at some point, if you're going to be hanging around and having some people over, or maybe even going to somebody else's house, you're probably going to run by a convenience store at some point. And why not make it twice daily? Because with their rewards program, you can get the special discounts, the savings. You can enter into the sweepstakes and so much more because it pays to be a member with Twice Daily. You're going to earn points, save money with every visit you make. So if you're looking for convenience, Twice Daily has you covered. So get the benefits, make it your go-to spot, especially this weekend on the 4th of July. They got everything you need with the pizzas to the snacks to everything. It's Twice Daily.
DMase, Vingen and Donick, 102.5. The Game. White America by Eminem. One of my favorites. I remember buying the Eminem Show album from Best Buy when you used to buy physical CDs. You can't do that really anymore.
You can, but people just usually download it on their phone.
Well, for you other nerds out there like me, I saw that PlayStation announced this week that I think starting in 2028, Sony PlayStation will no longer have physical discs for games.
I'm pissed. I'm so mad.
Oh, wow.
It's digital only. So
you still purchased the actual game, Connor?
Yeah. Well, I invest in it. So I'll purchase the actual copy, because I like the tradition of it. And then once I'm done with it and I know I'm not going to play it again, I'll just trade it into GameStop and reinvest it into something else.
Yeah.
Okay. They still trading games to GameStop? I used to do that back in the day, but that's when I was in my 20s.
Well, I one of my favorite video game memories was walking into a GameStop when I don't remember what year it was. Whatever year Grand Theft Auto 3 came out. And Grand Theft Auto 3, definitely inappropriate for like an 11 or 12-year-old.
Yeah.
So like I walk in there, I'm like, can I have Grand Theft Auto 3, please? And the guy behind the counter's like, yeah, sure, whatever. $60.
That game kept you up for hours. At least it did me.
Yes.
Early 20s. Oh, yeah. Right before kids. Yeah, it kept me up a long time.
Will Grand Theft Auto 6 ever come out? We'll find out.
November.
I don't know. Oh, it's actually coming out?
November.
Okay. All right. It's been.
You heard it from Connor.
All right. You've heard it here
He's on it.
first from Connor. One texter, Jerry, says, America, in a sentence. Taylor Swift getting married at Madison Square Garden. That sort of counts.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Joey Chestnut, who is known for gorging on 70 hot dogs in 10 minutes every 4th of July, competing in a hot dog eating contest while being on probation, I think that's America to a T.
Yeah, that was just funny because I'm like, why did they have to put that he was on probation? Why they just couldn't say Joey Chestnut's going for his 18th title?
Well, it was a news story. He had pleaded guilty.
Yeah, he did.
He should lean into it. America's Most Wanted.
But Chad said, what did you say? You thought he was on probation from the hot dog place? No, he was on probation, period.
He was on,
like legal probation.
He was on probation.
He wasn't on probation from the sport. He was on probation, period.
One texter. I have to really clean this up. One texter says, how many women of the night did you take down as an 11-year-old playing Grand Theft Auto 3? I'm not sure I counted. I'm not proud of it.
Did your parents know the number? The answer to that question?
You know, I'm not really sure how much attention they paid to it, but I turned out okay.
Yeah, you did.
Right?
Yeah.
See, now they check your ID for everything you go to buy. Like I went to buy the new college football the other day, and they checked my ID.
Why do you need an ID for a college football game?
I don't know. It was weird.
Wow,
that's strange.
What is it? 18 and up?
I think video
it's
games is.
Yeah, that's what. But I'm saying, like,
But I think
for everybody.
I think if you want to buy a rated M game, I think you've got to be at least 18. I think that's what the law technically is.
Okay.
But there weren't rated M games when you guys were playing video games. So.
I mean, Resident Evil was rated. Oh, you're talking about the Atari days. If you're talking about the Atari days, no.
Yeah, there was no rating on Pong.
Yeah, I mean, no rating on Pitfall. Okay,
that was for everybody. Pong was for everybody.
Pong,
you're just a stick.
No ratings on Mario. Did have one, I think.
There were no M.
How about Donkey Kong? Donkey Kong didn't have one.
It wasn't a mature game.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Fast forwarding a little bit. Mortal Kombat. Could a kid
You're
walk
right,
in and
yeah.
get Mortal Kombat? Like
Mortal Kombat
Mortal
should have
Kombat
had
for
one.
sure.
Yeah.
Because there was a way you could play without the real graphic ones, and then there was like the special code for the.
Yeah, you had to have a code, man.
Yeah.
There's the fatality, and there's the
thing,
brutality,
right.
which is even worse than the fatality, if memory serves. One texter says there's a common theme with the show: falling off the rails the last half hour of the day. That does happen
in the summer. Just great,
summer,
give us a little leeway in the summer.
One texter says, "Do the college football video games now have cheerleaders who serve as women of the night?" I don't know.
That would
I hope
explain a
not.
lot as to why they checked my ID.
It could be.
Take that as a compliment. They think you're too young to be playing those naughty games. So
I'm 22. I've been playing these for years.
Oh man, but no, it's the 4th of July. It's always fun. It's always fun to be with family, enjoying some hot dogs. You don't have to eat 76 of them in 10 minutes like Joey Chestnut.
So are you a rib guy or a hot dog guy on the 4th of July?
I'm going to be going up to my uncle's up in Cleveland, the fish fry. He is resurrected. It used to be like an annual thing. And he's getting a little bit older, so he hasn't done it as much. So he's making a comeback.
Oh,
it's
man.
like you were joking about, Adam, of the famous band that has the farewell tour.
Yeah,
this is the last one
for the 3rd time.
Right. So I think my uncle, the Grub, he's
that's his name. Y'all call him the Grub.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uncle Grub.
Uncle Grub.
Uncle Grub.
He is the master of the fish fry.
And
you got an Uncle Grub. I got an Uncle Bread.
Yeah.
You got an Uncle something?
Not with those cool nicknames. Where did Uncle Grub come from? Just because he's good at cooking?
I mean, you just look at him. He's the Grub.
He's just Grub.
Yeah, he's the Grub.
Now, does he like this?
Oh, he loves it.
Okay.
So he's making a comeback because he put it away. But the juices they're coming back. He's like, I got to do it again.
Get the itch.
Yeah. So it's more about the fish.
Okay.
We'll still have the dogs and probably some ribs and the burger, but the fish is what you want.
Adam?
I'm a traditionalist.
Okay.
Hot dogs, corn on the cob, maybe some, like shredded barbecue, coleslaw.
Okay.
I keep it simple.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
But is it weird that I find it weird when people eat pizza on the 4th of July? Sometimes people will have pizza on the 4th of July, and I like
as a main meal. No, maybe if it's later in the night.
Yeah,
I
think it's like that secondary.
Let's order a pizza. Get the kids some pizza.
Yes. Well, just remember what our rules are about fireworks on this program. Willy Donick is the hardliner. He says fireworks confined only to the evening of July 4th, not July 3rd, not July 5th, not during the day, not during the day on July 4th.
No,
only the evening of July 4th.
Darkness.
So it has to be completely dark.
All right, close. I'll give you a little leeway.
Dusk.
Dusk.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
You got to be able to see the action.
Okay.
But like if you're only seeing smoke. And you're squinting and like, oh yeah, I think I saw a couple of lights. It's not the use of firecrackers.
Oh man.
One texter says it is un-American to eat pizza on the 4th of July. I
can see that.
I can see that. For me, I will allow the evening of July 3rd for some fireworks, but the cutoff is midnight on July 5th. When that clock ticks from 11:59 p.m. on the 4th to midnight on the 5th, we're done. We're done.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yes.
I'm with you. Nothing after
and it's
the 4th.
different. I know some of you live out where you and your neighbors are not close together. It's different when you live in Nashville and your neighbors are right on top of you and you live in small neighborhoods. Just be considerate, okay? Some of us have dogs and kids and have a hard time sleeping, like me, because I have dogs and kids. So just be considerate when you're blasting off all of these fireworks.
And
That's
people,
all I
Make
say.
sure your fireworks work, okay?
And don't do what Derek did to his sister.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't put a firework in your sister's shoe.
Don't put, what are those things called? It was a little spinner, fire spinner, the thing that looks like a firecracker.
Sparkler.
No. You look like a firecracker, but you light it and it spins around and fire comes out. Yeah, I got my ass beat.
I'm sorry, you did what to your sister?
My daddy took it to me.
Give Connor the Cliff Notes version of what happened.
Okay, Connor. My mom and dad.
Words to the wise for the weekend.
Words to the wise.
Yeah.
Okay. My mom and dad took my youngest sister and youngest brother to my grandparents' house. And my dad specifically said, do not light any fireworks at all. And both me and my sister said, okay. And as soon as he left, you know what I did? I went and got the firecracker. And I convinced my sister, who's younger than me, hey, put it on your shoe. Not knowing that her shoes were made of plastic. They were little jellies back in the day. That was popular back in the day. Jellies. And I put that thing on her shoe and I lit it and it spun around. It didn't pop. It spun around and it burned the top of her foot. She was a trooper though, Connor. Because I said, please don't tell mom and dad. She went in the basement, her and I wrapped it up in the car.
Sibling bond, I guess.
Dr. Derek.
You're like that video of Backup Terry. That's what you are.
Exactly. And my parents came home from being over my grandparents' house, and they called us both up. I came up, my sister. They're like, come up. Boy, when they saw that, they was like, okay. They took my sister to emergency. And boy, oh boy, for about 4 or 5 hours. Oh, you talking about somebody sweating?
So they made you think about it for a while. Like you knew it
and
was
I
coming.
thought I was in the clear though, because it was late.
And then out came the belt.
Oh, belt. I wish it was a belt, man. I wish it was a belt, but I deserved that. I deserved it because he told us, do not light firecrackers. And what did I do? I lit it. Not only did I light the firecracker, I put it on my sister's shoe.
So don't do what Derek did
don't
this
do that.
weekend. Please,
Yes,
please. Don't do that. Look, if you want to light off fireworks, as is your right as an American,
be careful.
Just be careful. By the way, quickly, over under Joey Chestnut hot dogs this weekend, 72.5.
Under.
I'm taking the over.
I'm taking
Hammering the over.
I'm taking
His
the over.
record is, I believe, is 76.
How old is Joey?
I don't know.
I'm taking the under.
Is he showing signs of slowing down?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Clearly not.
Then you got to go over.
That year off, it did something to him.
I'm hammering the over.
That year off did something to him.
That, of course, is on Saturday. That'll do it for us this week. No show tomorrow because of the holiday weekend. So we will be back Monday at 3. But have a wonderful July 4th weekend. Happy birthday. Happy 250th birthday to the United States of America. Enjoy your family. Enjoy some hot dogs. Enjoy some strawberry shortcake. Enjoy some fireworks. Don't light them on your sister's shoes. Be safe. Be happy. Love each other. Have a wonderful, long weekend. We will talk to you Monday at 3.
Hey, be love on your people. Have a safe, blessed, and wonderful 250th birthday of the United States. Happy 4th of July. I love you. The team loves you. You hear that music? Don't you forget about us, because we will not forget about you. Be back on these airways on Monday, starting at 3 p.m. on 102.5. And as I always say, we're going to be talking, and
you're going to be listening.
Peace.